Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports. It's time. It is that time. Time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sacktown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. On a Wednesday, the 1st of May. Somebody got paid today, so good for you. Maybe yesterday. Stiles and Watkins. Sacktown Sports taking you up to 2 p.m. Chris, is it just me or did April fly by?
Yeah, April was pretty fast for sure. It's definitely going to speed up too. Once summer comes, it just feels like, the weather is going to be hot for a while.
Let's go.
It's all the fun times. It feels like, what's the old saying, time flies when you're having fun.
That's right.
That usually is how summer goes.
That's right. April did fly by, even though
not a lot of rain in April.
Right. It marked the end of the King season. Nate Littlefield behind the glass for us today. Nate shaking his head when I was excited when you started talking about the heat.
Yes. Yeah. It's I'm telling you, Alan, it's especially now that we're in May.
I'm built for this.
It's coming.
I'm built for this.
We'll see. Well, it's going to test you.
Dude.
It's definitely going to test you. There's going to be mornings where you're like, this is ridiculous. Like if it's this hot at 7:30 a.m.
I lived in Florida. I lived back east.
Yeah.
I mean, dry heat's different.
Yeah.
It's just different. I'm not saying it's worse, it's better.
It's just
but 110, 3 days or a week in a row is not fun. And
it sounds like golfing.
Chris is right. The morning is the worst.
Yeah.
The morning when it's 90 degrees is disturbing.
Sets the tone.
Wake
disturbing.
up, sweat. Go to sleep,
Yes,
sweat.
yes.
I'm with that.
AC bills high.
Hi. Yeah.
Hi.
Shout out Smut. Hey, Nate, by the way, my fishing extravaganza is Saturday.
Oh, nice. Where?
It is officially.
Why am I the fishing guy?
No, we sent it to Simone too. Simone actually had some great information.
All right.
She did.
All right.
She had some great information, so I don't
Plus,
want
you
to
work the fishing show.
I know,
Nate.
but
Like,
I
come
shouldn't
on.
be
Yeah.
the fishing guy. But whatever. Okay.
You just have insight.
Yeah,
That figure,
We
that's
are
true.
halfway through, and I don't want to say where we're going because I don't want it to be
right.
crowded when
Oh,
we get
dude,
there.
yeah.
Because,
You just don't wanna
know,
spend
You
the-
got to catch all the fish.
That's
And
right.
you'll be spending the whole day taking pictures with everyone. You want
That's
to get
right.
the fish,
I won't
signing
even get to
autographs.
fish.
Could you imagine people jumping into the water to get
Yeah.
to his boat?
We're
That's
going to be on the
a
banks.
scene.
We're going to be on the banks. We're not-
Hooking themselves.
Yes. And, I got my camouflage hat so the fish don't see me.
Nice.
Right.
And very excited.
Bass
I'm telling you,
Pro.
man, the fit is like 50%.
So you will want to check my Instagram and my Twitter because the fit is going to be outstanding. And then straight from there, I'm going to Country in the Park. That's what happened. I'm going straight from fishing to Country in the Park.
Is this a joke or is
That's
this real?
Well, no, they're two different weekends, but I'll wear the same outfit to Country in the Park. All right, as we get started here with the NBA and a crazy night of games, and I'll tell you what, Chris, when it comes to market size, okay, is it okay to say, and maybe I got purple lenses on, is it okay to say that there probably couldn't be a worse matchup than Cleveland, Orlando? I mean, I feel like Sacramento versus anybody in the Western Conference would be better. Maybe somebody would argue if
maybe like Kings Blazers or something.
Kings Blazers would be rough. Even Kings Rockets, I think, would be better than
San
Cleveland,
Antonio,
Orlando.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not a lot there from the national view.
And it's a good series, and nobody cares.
Good basketball series. You got two solid teams. You got two young groups. But yeah, I mean, Orlando, Cleveland, it just doesn't really roll off the tongue. And it's been relegated to the NBA TV series. And I think I don't think anybody's had any complaints about it. And you know what? That series has had some really good games, a couple good endings, I should say. The shooting has been pretty tough in that series, but those are two decent teams. But yeah, I mean, frankly, it just doesn't have especially after watching Knicks Sixers and how that energy has been in both buildings, like it can't even hold a candle. Like it's not even close to the hype that those series bring. Even Indiana Milwaukee has a little bit of something because of all the drama that they had in the regular season.
Right,
so,
with the in-season and everything like that.
The ball gate, all
Pat
that
Bev,
stuff.
and we're about to get into that here in depth as far as Pat Bev. He hated on Halliburton, and then as much as we'll joke, Patrick Beverley.
Always loved this podcast, man.
Always. He stood on business
always.
last night. So we will break all of that down. Also, at 11 o'clock, I will tell the good people, all the Sack Towners out there, okay, the Sack Chat, the callers, the texters. I woke up this morning, Chris. I saw some stuff on social media. Obviously, this is just my opinion. I feel much better about the Malik Monk situation when I woke up today. That is at 11 o'clock. Please, once I give my take, let us know. Am I off my rocker? Also, we are discussing Charles Barkley and the TNT crew. Life as we know it, right? Baby Stiles loves that show. I think because they're just so over the top. She'll sit there and watch it. Is that going to come to an end? And we are continuing our player breakdowns, finishing up the forwards. We have Keegan Murray and everyone's future fan favorite, Sasha Vezenkov. Those are the two on the docket today. Those are the main things that we will be hitting. Also, a little bit of Deion Sanders drama. Surprise, surprise. Not really surprising at all. But, Chris, I got to start here. I got to be honest with you. So I got the show. I got the games going as, we're feeding Baby Stiles. She's doing a bunch of different things. But I'm locked in Knicks Sixers, okay? It got to a point, and, maybe there are little, prize picks or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
It got to a point where we had to give her a bath.
Okay.
They were down 5, the Sixers were, with like 30 seconds left.
Yes.
Chris.
Yeah.
I changed the channel.
Ooh.
I changed the channel to Cleveland, Orlando.
Did you see that ending at least, or was it the beginning of that game? That would have been the.
I changed it. I changed it. I changed it. So I'm okay. Whatever has happened, that game's a wash.
Okay.
The Sixers are done. I go. I'm helping. Whatever, attempting to help. I hop on my phone and I see somebody. Wow, Sixers fans better pack that building after that comeback. What guts? And I'm thinking. Yeah. What in the world just happened? Then I see that they went to overtime and they won in New York.
I don't blame you.
I thought it was cooked.
Yeah, I mean, it was cooked. After that OG dunk, I was like, okay, cool. And then McBride hit that
with the rainbow,
just the
jump shot,
free throw line jumper. That's the Domantas Sabonis shot that everybody wants.
Yeah,
McBride just cashed it. I kind of don't blame you. It sucks that you kind of missed a pretty epic finish, but. That game was over. That game is over 10 times out of 10. And, you really can do nothing but tip your hat to Tyrese Maxey, right? He took the game. He stole that game from the hands of defeat. They were down what? Yeah, you said 5 with 30 seconds to go. He gets a 4-point play on a crazy and one. And I don't know if I want to blame Mitchell Robinson for leaning into him, but it was – I don't know. It wasn't a smart play for sure. I heard Stephen A. ripping into Mitchell Robinson this morning for the idiotic play. It was just idiotic. It just didn't make sense. I'm just saying, if Mitchell Robinson doesn't do that, the Knicks win. And so, Josh Hart missed a free throw at the end. Right. Kings fans know that pain all too much. It was, the Knicks definitely played their part in it, but Tyrese Maxey hit a 33-foot three from the logo. There's not much you can do about that except for say this fool clearly is just on one right now. And I think he had 17 points in that fourth quarter. I think he only missed one shot. Crazy. That is an all-time performance. Truly, it sucks that you didn't get to watch it in real time, but that's something where, especially if Philly wins the series, that's going down in history, I think, with that Kawhi shot that happened against Philly. Reggie Miller hitting 6 points in 30 seconds or whatever. You can maybe even put it up, probably not to the level of Ray Allen's 3 to win the finals, but that shot was ridiculous. That's your season on the line. Right. And he pulled up from a couple steps in front of half court and cashed it. Absolutely cashed it. And then in overtime was crazy too. It was a crazy shot, crazy ending. And I can't really be upset at you for switching the channel because you should have been able to. Right.
Well, and the main thing is here, I feel like if you are a Sixers fan, and look, they might not win the series, maybe they lose in Philly. And I know Dr. J, a bunch of people were saying, don't stop selling your tickets, Sixers fans. Yeah. You cannot have them coming down
that was crazy.
from New York because the ticket prices in New York have just been absurd compared to in Philly. But it feels like a little bit of vindication for the Sixers because because of the last what was that, game 2 with the last 2 minute report?
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
And for them to go down like that, so now I would call it even.
Sure.
The Sixers probably should have lost last night.
Karma-wise.
Yes. And the Knicks should have lost game 2.
Yeah.
So I'm good with that.
The universe has a weird way of evening itself out.
Exactly. Right? Sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Yes. Sometimes.
We're still waiting on our Sacramento side.
Exactly. So. Exactly. They doesn't tell universe doesn't tell you when. Yeah. It does not.
Sometimes it could be a week. Sometimes it could be 2 decades. 18 years. So, maybe one day, maybe 20.
So,
maybe 20 will be
now the Sixers head back to Philly, and now there are question marks about another star guard. Yeah. Where does Tyrese Maxey belong now?
The chat for sure.
He's definitely entered the chat, and people are talking about it. All right, when we return, we have sound from Pat Bev standing on business and shutting down Chris's favorite player, Tyrese Halliburton.
Such a good podcast.
Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a walk-up with central air and a skylight, and you found it. Now, every Friday night, you get to fall asleep to the sound of your downstairs neighbors' dance parties. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
This segment is brought to you by Aztec Solar. Skip the sales pitch. Calculate your solar savings at yourpowersavings.com.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
When you stand on business, you deserve your flowers. And Patrick Beverley stood on business last night. Chris, it was the first time, I believe, in NBA history, a team missing their 2 top scorers won a playoff game,
really?
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
It would not surprise me because it shouldn't happen.
Right.
The Pacers are officially, and they've been for me, but they're on fraud watch for sure. If you blow a 3-1 series lead in one of those games, like you said, first time in history.
Not one. Not just Giannis.
That's crazy.
Dame, and Middleton was actually injured as well.
Yes.
I think it was an ankle, but he played through it.
He's killed it.
And now you have Doc Rivers, and I don't know how close because it's the 2 Achilles brothers. I should join them and we can make the Achilles trio. But now he's saying that both of these guys are close. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's gamesmanship. I don't know. I mean, all I know is rupturing an Achilles. I don't know what this whole thing is of monitoring and letting it just heal. The only other person I think off the top of our heads the last time we had this convo was Anthony Davis.
Sure.
Anthony Davis dealt with some stuff, and clearly, he's powered. He's at other stuff, shoulder, because he got brushed on the shoulder, but the Achilles has been in and out, and he's played through it for a couple of years now, it feels like. So maybe they'll be back, and if they're back, I mean, there was so much pressure. I know it was in Milwaukee, but there's just no excuses. So here's Pat. This game was tailor-made for Patrick Beverley. Mm-hmm. This is what he wakes up in the morning hoping, who can I prove wrong to? This was so good for his brand and his podcast. It is exactly what he was hoping for. This is Patrick Beverley before that game on guarding Tyrese Halliburton.
What have you seen trying to defend Halliburton in this series?
Check the numbers.
For him,
I think he's shooting 19% from the 3.
Just for him, outside of shooting, just as a playmaker, how have you guys tried to, I know Doc had said, hey, we're trying to force him to his
left. I gave you the ball for 41 minutes, you'll have 10 assists also.
And that's how he ends it. He then goes out to have the ball in his hands for majority of the game.
Oh, man.
And what does he do? Put up 12 assists.
Yeah, come on.
13 points, 12 assists.
Come on. Yeah. And, I've
Say it.
I just nothing feels better. It's just Patrick Beverley, like I said, great podcaster.
He's your
great
guy
player,
now.
back
Now he's
against
your
the
guy.
Wall. There's nobody else I would rather want on my team than Patrick Beverley.
Now he's a guy now.
Oh, he's been a
He's
guy.
on the big fish
He's
list
been
now.
a guy. Oh
Just
my
stop it.
gosh. You remember Patrick Beverley locking down KD in that Brooklyn.
Just stop it.
My gosh, Patrick Beverley. He's like you said, he's built for these moments. Like there's none of the stars playing. Nobody believes his team is going to win.
Yeah.
On the brink of elimination. That is Patrick Beverley 101
Right.
to watch out for, because that man lives for proving people wrong, doubters, and when nobody believes in you, that's when Patrick Beverley is going to show up. And the fact that he pretty much went toe to toe with Tyrese Halliburton. If not, you can even say he outperformed Tyrese. Like I think it's incredible, and it's a little validating for sure. I think a lot of people were ready to crown Tyrese after that in-season tournament run, and it's just you've seen a lot of the things that, frankly, we were concerned about here in Sacramento. I know everybody likes to kind of do the rose-colored glasses when it comes to Tyrese and act like he was a perfect player when he was here, but there was legitimate concerns where there would be nights where Tyrese was 2 of 9. And it's like, and it's not necessarily the 2, but it's why are you only taking 9 shots? Like, we're not a good team. You're one of our youngest good assets. We need you to be aggressive. And that's something that is kind of shown out here in the playoffs. Siakam's been fantastic. So I understand deferring to him, but they need the Tyrese Halliburton that's putting up 20, and, the 10 assists is obviously great, but Patrick Beverley does have an ounce of truth to what he's saying. Like, in the same way that our guy Shasky was like, Sabonis has the ball in his hand, and of course he's going to average a ton of assists because he's got the ball in his hands that much. Tyrese does have the ball in his hands a ton, and that is why he puts up the numbers that he does.
Yeah, and it's a great point. I don't know what to do with Tyrese Halliburton, other than that RDC world. That clip,
the crew, yeah.
Well, the clip where they're playing basketball and the guy refuses to shoot, and he's underneath the basket, and he keeps passing it to try to get assists. Like, dude, shoot the basketball. So after the first game, when the Pacers lost, everybody was saying that's
really?
Tyrese is trying to get assists. Then you had the thing earlier this season where he was kind of annoyed because he was one away from, what was it, setting a record, or it was
like
20 assists or
without a turnover or something like that. And he was like, shoot the ball.
Yeah, he was saying shoot the ball.
Yeah.
So look, these are conversations that need to be had.
Yeah.
When it's organic, and I think that's how all these things start.
Yep.
Okay? Whether it's basketball, whether it's non-sport related, whatever. A lot of these things, they start organically, and then they turn podcast, right? Somebody that's funny, blah, 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 blah. You're funny once, you're funny twice in the media. Oh, let me start a podcast. It goes from organic to shtick, okay? And it's getting to a point with Tyrese Halliburton where are these assists, is it organic, or is it just, my thing is I'm going to have a ridiculous number of assists? Dude, just be a star.
Yeah.
Have it happen organically, because, brother, you still need to score.
Yes.
And this is for personal reasons. Aaron Nesmith, you do not want this man shooting the basketball. I haven't seen that man shoot make a 3-point basket since they played the Kings in Sacramento when Tyrese Halliburton was dressed like Where's Waldo.
Yeah.
That is the last time I've seen Nesmith make a 3-pointer, and he's passing it around. They're playing hot potato. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, no, it's I do love the layout there. I think I do wonder if, sometimes we talked about it with Rondo, right? When Rondo retired, I said
Rondo
I felt
can't
like
shoot.
here, and that's the difference. It's like Tyrese, and maybe that's it. Maybe he doesn't feel that confident in his actual shot creating ability.
He
maybe
needs a lot of time. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
If you watch the game, as far as a point guard shooting the basketball, Tyrese Halliburton, when he's making threes, it's because there's a breakdown in the defense where they're giving him a three.
Yeah.
He cannot really make shots off the dribble.
Yeah, he struggles to create his own shot for sure. And I feel like I've heard him talk about it. Maybe I'll try and search for the audio at some point here, but I swear he even admitted like he's not, in terms of his bag or like how he gets his, he's not really fast. He's not really like an excellent, I don't want to say like an excellent ball handler, but he's not Kyrie Irving. Like he's not crossing people up or anything like that. And so he's kind of limited in his creation. And so it's something that I've definitely noticed. He is really crafty and sometimes he does get a good first step on people. And because he's so long, he can kind of get in front of them and control him with his body like he did on that floater to get the game winner the other day. But ultimately, it is a bit concerning. Like these are the concerns that I had about him in Sacramento, and it's definitely still a concern over there in Indiana where he has a much bigger spotlight on him. Like I'm just not sure where and I'm not saying he's not a great player. I just wonder how much more of his career might end up being a little more of Jason Kidd than Steve Nash, where I think we think he's going to be this 20-13 guy, which he's been. And I'm not saying he can't be that, but it does feel a little bit more like he views himself as a playmaker. And that to me is fine. It's just you have to kind of build around that. If your star is going to be, again, like a more of a Jason Kidd where he's hovering around 10 to 14, 15 points, well, then you need two scorers on your team. And Siakam's definitely one, but I think they need another guy to who's not afraid to score. If Tyrese is going to be a little hesitant, they might need another star in there to make that thing fully work.
And Siakam has been bad too, right? He has not been bad from. They have a bunch of guys. Yeah. They have a bunch of guys that scoring isn't really their bag.
Sure.
Is it crazy to think
they definitely don't have like a straight up bucket getter?
They almost you could almost, and I don't, their name hasn't been coming up. I don't know where they're at in the, and this would be terrible for Kings fans. I'm not saying it, but based on where they are in the cap, the Malik Monk sweepstakes, they don't have a bucket.
No, they don't.
They got Andrew Nembhard.
Yeah. They got Nembhard. They got Neesmith. They got a bunch of shooters, but they don't have they don't have guys who are saying ISO. Ben Mathurin, I guess, is the guy that they would want him to be. But I mean, that's definitely been a thing that's been missing from them this series is just another straight up bucket. And maybe it is Ben Mathurin, and maybe it's a really big hole that we just don't notice. But yeah, to me, I think Tyrese has to, and he talked about it too. A big transition for him from Sacramento to Indy was that aggressive mindset of saying, "Oh shoot, if I don't score, we're probably going to lose by 15 or 20." So it's the playoffs. This is his first run in the playoffs. You do have to give him a little bit of grace, but when you're crowned the way that he was crowned early this season, I think it's fair to be a little bit critical of how he's done.
They got a stimulus package last night. And if Giannis and Dame come back and they lose this thing, I don't care.
He's getting slandered. No, he's getting slandered.
He's getting this work.
All right. Slandered.
We ask the uncomfortable question that we have to ask because it is what it is. And we're seeing stuff on the YouTubes that we've posted lately. They're doing great, by the way. Go check them out. The Big Fish clip that we have floating around that Chris spent a lot of time on, and the Matt George post. There's something that is coming up, which is very obvious that it would come up, and we're going to address it when we return. Stiles Watkins, Sackdown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sackdown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Cool moms love the lounge. Show your appreciation this Mother's Day by treating your mom to specials on some of our favorites all day long.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jake Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, the Hot Tub Store, and Cattleman's.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Not to brag, but Progressive's Name Your Price tool is mankind's greatest tool ever. Even better than the wheel. Sure, without the wheel, we wouldn't have modern transportation or funny videos of dogs riding skateboards. But without the Name Your Price tool, we wouldn't have easy access to auto insurance options based on our budget. And, well, cars do need wheels. They also need insurance, and insurance never goes flat. Learn more about the greatest tool ever, the Name Your Price tool at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
ZZ Top, the Elevation Tour. Friday, May 3rd, 7:30 p.m., the venue at Thunder Valley with special guest Foghat. ZZ Top, playing all their classic hits. The venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khdk.com.
Live
and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
All right, this is what happens when the Kings miss the playoffs. We have to have this conversation. I don't want to have this conversation, but I do feel like it needs to be said. And we're going to open up the phone lines here, 916-339-1140. This is the question that nobody wants to ask, nobody wants to talk about, but we're going to do it here. All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop, text line as well, and the Sack Chat. I'm not going to make you wait any longer. The question is this, as we see stuff popping up on our YouTube videos and on social media, on our Twitters, things like that. Would this Kings team be in the playoffs if it was Tyrese Halliburton at PG and not De'Aaron Fox? Same team.
Yeah.
It's we're finally addressing the you traded the wrong point guard conversation.
Yeah, no. I mean, there's no, or at least there's nothing definitive that you can say. Like there would be no reason. I mean, De'Aaron Fox was not the reason why the Kings didn't make the playoffs this year. So, no, I mean, especially when you factor in the fact that what I just laid out in the last segment, like Tyrese was not aggressive here.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say he would have been aggressive. He was, I mean, De'Aaron in that last game was 4 of 16 from 3. And, we could go back and forth on whether or not that was a good thing or not. But I think you could argue that a part of that was De'Aaron recognizing ain't nobody else going to help us today. And it's got to be me. And, that does take a certain leader. It takes a certain scorer mentality to do that. And, you have to be willing to accept that, if these shots don't go in, people are probably going to say, I had a terrible game. And I don't know if Tyrese is at the point of his development where he would be willing to take 16 threes and to take 25, 30 shots in a game because he had to. Maybe he would. I honestly don't know. But I ultimately don't think that they were some miraculous performance specifically given by Tyrese Halliburton away from making the postseason. Maybe if you want to have a conversation of, hey, if Fox and Sabonis or Fox and Halliburton were on the team, maybe I still would say that there's no definitive evidence for that either. I think that whole conversation is just a bunch of people who are projecting the fact that they're just upset that Tyrese got moved.
Yeah. I don't think that it changes really anything. I don't know if the team is better or worse, because if it's specific to this season, and that means no Malik Monk, no Kevin Huerter.
Halliburton's also been in and out all year.
Right.
Fox
He's been
played
injured
74
himself.
games this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's 8 games.
Yeah. And when you talk about how Halliburton plays, it's funny because he would have to play a different way out here based on Kevin Huerter did not shoot the ball well this season. Keegan Murray at times did not shoot the ball. You have Harrison Barnes. So again, it would be a larger version of hot potato, or you have a different version of Tyrese Halliburton where he is more of a volume shooter, and we don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
So, and on top of that, like you said, great call with the health thing, and it's the West. Okay? It's the West. I know their records were similar, but ultimately the West is a tougher grind than the East. So if you're asking me if this team is in the playoffs right now, if Tyrese Halliburton was the PG instead of De'Aaron Fox, I think the answer is no. I don't think I've seen enough from Tyrese Halliburton at the clip that I would need to see it consistently enough to say yes for sure. I don't know if it's a 0% no,
right?
But it definitely is more no than yes for me.
I don't understand how you could, like, unless you're just a pure person who doesn't think De'Aaron Fox is that guy, I just don't see how you could solely say, oh no, subbing this for this would equal play. Like, because again, like everybody else didn't, like, how is Tyrese Halliburton going to help Harrison Barnes make shots? Like, we saw it in the playoffs, right? Like, Sabonis set all these guys up for open looks.
Right.
They just continue to miss. And so Sabonis's assist numbers went from 7.5 in the regular season to down to 5 or 4 in the playoffs against the Warriors. And so I'm certain.
Does that mean he's a worse passer? He became a worse passer? No. Guys started bricking.
Tyrese will probably drive the lane. He'll find a wide open Keegan or Harrison or Huerter, and they'll continue to miss it.
Right.
And so, like, there's no way of saying, oh, but Halliburton's a 12 assist per game guy. Well, yeah, because his guys made shots and he was on the most prolific offense in the NBA this season. So, of course, his assist numbers are going to look great. If you slow his game down or slow the team game down, the pace down, and players start missing shots, he's going to look a lot more like 8 to 7 assists per game like De'Aaron was, like Sabonis was. So, it's just a bit of a reach. You would really have to be a Hallie stan and a pretty big De'Aaron hater for me to believe you in saying that you think Tyrese would make this.
Or you can convince us. 916-339-1140. Let's get out to Tim, first caller of the day, wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Tim? What you got for us?
Hey, hi guys. How are you doing today?
Great,
How you
good.
doing?
Yeah, good. Well, look, when the trade first happened, I thought maybe they made a mistake. And the reason was because Fox wasn't a threat from the three-point line at all. You know, so it's like, we got another Kenny Smith here. He's super fast, but for today's NBA, so I thought maybe that was a Fox has proved me totally wrong. He's a threat from three. He can penetrate. He can assist. I would just say this: there isn't, I don't think, a GM in the league that if you had to pick one of those two guys right now, you would take Halliburton over Fox. And there's not any part of his game that he can't do and do better. I mean, I'm the first one to say I was wrong. You know, like, okay, you're a threat from three now. Now the whole floor opens up. Speed, scoring inside, threat from three. He can D up sometimes when he really wants to. Halliburton gets caught in the air a lot. Did that at the Kings. He'd get caught in the air and then have to pass it somewhere crazy. He still does that. I mean, I don't even think it's close. I can't even imagine there'd be a GM anywhere that said you can have one of these two guys. Pick one. No, but take Tyrese.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Tim. Great stuff. Yeah, I really don't know. I really don't know.
I think there would be some.
Yeah, I don't think it's
people love Tyrese Halliburton. I don't think it has anything to do with De'Aaron. I think it's more of like the love of people just absolutely fall head over heels for Tyrese Halliburton.
Right.
I don't see it that, but yeah, there's some GMs that this guy is the future point guard of the NBA.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't be, and that's with anything.
Yeah.
It definitely wouldn't be
30
out of 30 would
yeah.
take De'Aaron over Tyrese, because every team is different, and we're not going to get into those semantics. But yeah, it definitely is nowhere near the outside narrative of you traded the wrong PG. Tyrese Halliburton is better. Tyrese Halliburton had some moments. Tyrese Halliburton is a showstopper.
Yeah.
He does his little skip celebration after he makes a three. I think it's because he's surprised that he actually made one. And the other team, the rest of the players, they do it with him. He's a showman.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said about a brand and putting butts in those seats.
Sure.
I get all that. But from a basketball standpoint, I do not think you can sit there and say it is clear cut. I don't know if it's clear cut in either direction, but I think I would also lean in. We're pretty tough on De'Aaron on this show.
For sure.
But the more that I watch Tyrese Halliburton, the more that I'm still trying to figure out who he's going to be. Because if he's going to be a souped up Rajon Rondo, then I'm taking what De'Aaron could be over a souped up Rajon Rondo.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think De'Aaron has the conversation of being, potentially a 1A. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's kind of a little further down the line. But I think at the very least, like, De'Aaron can be a second scorer on a team that's contending pretty highly.
Yes.
I just don't know. Like you said, we just don't know about Tyrese yet. Like, he's clearly a fantastic point guard, and this conversation is not meant to take away from. He is definitely a upper tier, upper echelon point guard in the league.
But there are enough people on the other side of it that I don't have a problem in Sacramento saying that we're not going to. Tyrese is getting his flowers everywhere else.
There's a good point.
We can give De'Aaron, Sacramento's guy, the flowers that he deserves. I'm not worried about anybody saying you're not giving Tyrese the flowers. Go listen to national media. you can get it there.
No, that's fair.
You know what I mean?
That's very true. You're right. You're totally right. And I think Tyrese, he's just, we don't know. Like I just said, like, I don't know if he's going to be a person who is going to continue to put up points as they continue to move further and further along. I do think that his best skill set is creating for others and finding open shooters. And that's a really big skill. But like you said, if he's going to be a souped up Rajon Rondo or a little bit, I don't even know if it's disrespectful to say a little bit better of a version of Jason Kidd, because Jason Kidd's one of the best point guards to ever step on that floor. So if he's Jason Kidd, I think that's absolutely a godsend. But if he's going to be that kind of player, like that style of player, I just think they need another guy. I don't know what caliber he needs to be. I don't know if he just needs to be a scorer. I don't know if it's like a Michael Porter Jr. type that they could use, or if it's truly like another star dominant kind of guy. But I think that the future of Tyrese is probably going to be the connector. I don't think he's going to be, he's of course always going to be, he's going to have his podcasts, guest host, or whatever he does with the media side of things. So he's always going to be a darling and a face, but I don't know if he's going to be a top 2 scorer on a contending team.
Ashley, we see you. We will get to you when we return. Real quick, Chris, if the Pacers do blow this, where would it rank among bag fumbles?
Oh, it might be top 5. It might be top 5. Being up 3-1
and no Dame,
that's series
no
over.
Giannis.
That's series over. 3-1 is series over.
You got hit by Pat Bev.
Come on.
And whatever's left.
Connaughton.
And Pat Connaughton.
Come on.
And Bobby Portis.
By Pat. And
Pat, Bobby Portis, and whatever's left of Chris Middleton.
Come on.
And you're the dude.
Come on.
You're the dude.
Come on. Best offense in the league this year.
You're the dude. All right. When we return, continuing the conversation, Ashley, we see you also. TNT.
They lost by 23 last
They got hit,
Come on.
too. It wasn't even close. Also, TNT and the NBA, that might end. What is up with the future of Charles Barkley and the crew? We hear from Charles Barkley. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
Going deep down the sideline for RU. He's got it, and he's gone. 10-5, touchdown! San Francisco! Ayuk is on fire!
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hi, it's Brian from Bennett's Restaurants. Springtime is a fun time, so to celebrate, we created a new menu of our favorites from Baja. Plenty of new food. Enjoy grilled skirt steak, wild prawns with pineapple, fresh sea bass, and Sonoran beef enchiladas, to mention a few. Try our empanadas stuffed with carnitas and cheese. Love shrimp? Try the new shrimp tostada. We make great guacamole and salsa too. Enjoy our newest dessert, Kylie's Churros, with a vanilla cream center. Visit Bennett'sRestaurants.com and come enjoy the new Baja menu today. Eat well, stay well.
Sacramento sports fans, get ready to amp up your summer with the Sacktown Sports live events calendar. We've got an incredible lineup. First up, on May 24th, don't miss Tribal Seeds as they bring their reggae beats to Ace of Spades, presented by Live Nation. And mark your calendars for June 8th when NF takes the stage at the Golden One Center. Visit livenation.com for tickets. And don't miss out on the California State Fair's summer lineup. On July 15th, experience Queen Nation, a tribute to Queen. Catch Flo Rida on July 23rd. Bush on July 24th, and the ultimate throwback with the 90s Rewind Show on July 29th, featuring Tone Loc, CNC Music Factory, and Digital Underground. Looking ahead to August 4th, get ready for the Outlaw Music Festival at the Toyota Amphitheater, presented by Live Nation. It's a star-studded event featuring Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and John Mellencamp. The Sacktown Sports Live Events Calendar, your ultimate playbook for the best shows and events in town. Stay tuned to Sacktown Sports for exclusive updates and your chance to win tickets. Do you hear that? That's your air conditioner working overtime this summer. But it's not just the temperature that's rising, so is your electric bill. Stop paying sky-high rates for your electricity with a solar electric system from Aztec Solar. Finally, you can calculate your monthly savings when you go solar without sitting through a 2-hour in-home sales pitch. Visit yourpowersavings.com and Aztec Solar will text you how much you'll save each month by going solar. Since 1980, Aztec Solar has helped thousands of homeowners with solar pool heating, solar electricity, and backup energy storage. Going solar is like getting an extra paycheck every month. How much will your paycheck be? Find out at yourpowersavings.com. Yourpowersavings.com. Looking for a deal today? Now you can own a solar electric system for just $99.95 cash offer after incentives. Act now. This offer expires soon. Aztec Solar. Solar and only solar since 1980.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
From the 707, Pacers fans are way too cocky about Tyrese. Let's not forget this man made his playoff debut with 9 points. Look, it's called passive. Pass is literally in the word passive. So there's no way to spin it. I don't know if you can be. This is a really interesting spin on it too, Chris. Can you be a franchise guy if passing is your number one thing.
I would think so.
Better do it at a high level.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I think, I think so. It's just you've got to, at some point, if you're going to be the guy, at some point, all eyes are going to be on you. Like, there's going to be a situation where you're down 1 and there's the Tyrese Maxey situation. Honestly, you're down and your team it's either you or Pascal Siakam have to step up and hit a big shot. And, that he's got to be willing. And he hit that floater. Absolutely. But it's continuing. It's continuing. And, even LeBron,
at home, though.
Even LeBron has had conversations, the thing that pretty much made Skip Bayless's career is, LeBron shouldn't have passed out of that game-winning shot because he's LeBron, and you shouldn't always make the right play. So you definitely can be the franchise guy, but you also have to understand even LeBron James got questioned when he didn't step up in those moments. So, and I'm not saying Tyrese hasn't stepped up in those moments, but I'm just saying he's got to be. You can't average 15 points a game and at the same time be talked about he is also averaging 9 assists per game, but. You can't do that and
it's
be
low for him.
It's low. I mean, if De'Aaron Fox did that last year, he would have gotten slandered. That's for sure. It doesn't matter what Sabonis was doing. It wouldn't matter what Keegan Murray or anybody else could have been killing it. But if De'Aaron's averaging 15 points, people are going to have questions about what's going on there. It's great that he has 9 assists. It's not like you're providing us nothing, but we kind of need you to be a star.
He got the ball in his hands the whole time. Look, Tyrese is only 24. De'Aaron's 26. All we're really saying is that the idea, maybe next season Tyrese comes back and he's much better shooting off the dribble. It's much more balanced as far as, wow, he can do the Tyrese Maxey type stuff and the De'Aaron type stuff and get the assists like that. Then cool. Then he's on his way up. But as of right now, all we're saying is as of right now, you can't say what people are saying as far as next star in the league, this, that, the third. There are guys that are much further along than Tyrese, and some of them are older, and some of them aren't.
We haven't even talked about the defense either.
I was
thank you.
De'Aaron is much better
below average defender, and I think that's putting it lightly.
Yeah, De'Aaron is much better defensively. He's swipe of the fox. He got the most steals. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Ashley. Wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Ashley? What you got for us?
As far as Halliburton goes and all that, I definitely see what you guys are saying there. And there's all this chatter about, Domas didn't play exactly great in the playoffs. Well, Tyrese in his first stint, Domas has at least been there a few times. Tyrese in his first stint, he ended up not doing the best. And so I think that it would be hard for him to be the guy if that's how he's going to play in those types of big moments. Now I expect it because we see what he does in the regular season, but in the postseason it does get a little bit harder to play at that same type of level because the competition does step up, and so with that, I feel like the Kings and Pacers are kind of like in a similar boat, and the level of players that we got, it's just how we utilize them and how they go about working their magic is a little bit different.
Yeah, no, thanks for the call, Ashley. As always, really the bottom line is it's more about the outside slander that De'Aaron and the Kings get. And when you actually break down who Tyrese is, look, Tyrese, he's a guy, and really I'm trying to think, Chris, when Dame, because the game where Tyrese made the game winner, Dame didn't play that. Dame didn't get injured that game, right? Did he get injured that game or he was already out? Either way, neither of those dudes were in.
Game 4, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, go ahead.
Either way, when Tyrese it was a close game in Indiana without Dame or Giannis. So they almost blew it at home.
Yeah, I'm looking at it here. It was game 3, I believe, where Tyrese hit the shot, and Dame did play. Dame played 44 minutes. So I think that was the game that Dame got hurt, and then couldn't play. or I'm sorry, he played in game 4 as well. So yeah, I mean, I believe that might have been where he had initially tweaked it or something. But yeah, I mean, he's been good for them this series, but I think ultimately, and here's the thing too, if they do make it out of this series, we're going to get a more clear answer on this in round 2, because they're going to play one of either the Knicks or the Sixers. And I think, viewing that series with how both of those teams are playing right now, I think those two are looking at this next round against potentially Indiana, and they're licking their chops. They're like, this is a clear run to the conference finals. And so if Indiana can make it tough in the next round, presuming that they're going to take care of Milwaukee, again, being up 3-1 is about as signed, sealed, as delivered as it gets. Assuming that they close it out here in these next 2 games, they're going to have to show up. Like, there's no excuses in round 2, because you've already had the experience. You already have all the nerves out of the way of round 1 and it being your first time in there. Now it's time for you to put up or shut up, because, you're either going against a Knicks team that, doesn't really have as much talent maybe as you, or you're going against the Sixers team that's pretty beat up and has definitely shown some warts. So, all this that we're saying now can definitely be proven otherwise in about a week or 2. But ultimately right now, I mean, if they do blow this series, there's going to have to be some questions that are going to be answered. I'm not just going to be able to let this Tyrese Halliburton love train continue without a little bit of pushback.
Of course not. Let's get to Steven, who wants to be a part of the conversation. Our guy. What's up, Steven? What you got for us?
Hey, good morning, afternoon, boys. Hope you guys are having a good day so far.
You too.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. Really, I do. I can't really recall a situation where these 2 guards are in the conversation, or in the conversation being talked about so much, especially after a trade. Is there any kind of comps that you guys can really throw out there, or really comparisons between 2 guards that are anywhere remotely close to this? Because I've never seen, I'm not as educated as you guys. I'm definitely, I'm a little more casual than pro, I guess. But I've never seen anybody talk about 2 guards as much as we have with Halliburton and Fox. Like, being drafted by the same team, this type of situation. So is there anything that you guys could, compare this to?
Yeah, thanks for the call, Steven. Well, it is super unique, and that's why things got sticky. Yeah. The Kings just decided to go in the direction of best player available.
Yeah.
And when you go best player available, you could argue this was always their plan. Let's just stockpile talent and figure out if they can play together, if they can't play together, and we'll go from there. I mean, there's back in the day, Tracy McGrady and Steve Francis got traded for each other, but
that's a really
they were
one.
Both a little bit older. The Luka trade thing, that was on draft night, but that's not even close.
Yeah, even the thing that came to my mind instantly, and it doesn't really work, is Steph and Monte, but I think
that's a good one.
It kind of
that's
Steph kind of obviously.
Warrior fans were upset.
It was for
a while.
year, maybe a year and a half, and then Steph kind of started to show Steph stuff, and I think after a while it was clear who won that battle. And maybe this will be a similar situation. We don't know which. We definitely hope that we're on the winning side of that, but. I mean, it's like you said, I mean, it's just not a typical situation where, these 2 guys play together and then get kind of separated. I'm sure there's one that we're forgetting about, maybe a really big one, but in terms of, and because the thing that makes this conversation so interesting as well is that they're really about the same tier of player, but they get it done in 2 completely different ways. And so it's very much like a pick your favorite ice cream or whatever your favorite style of fighter is, you're going to lean more towards that player. So I think it's something that's probably going to last another couple years, but usually what ends up happening is somebody ends up separating themselves. And I think, both guys kind of are neck and neck right now. Both have just played a single playoff series, but something tells me De'Aaron's gonna. I think Tyrese is gonna have the media train behind him, but I think De'Aaron's numbers are going to continue to look like the more star player.
Yeah, it's very much De'Aaron kind of encapsulates Sacramento in a lot of different ways, and it would have been funny to see Tyrese out here because who knows what he could have done for the brand, but De'Aaron kind of represents how a lot of people view Sacramento anyway. So it is a funny push and pull with that. When we return, Charles Barkley on the future of NBA or on TNT, why I feel much better about Malik Monk staying, and someone on the text line wants to talk A's. So we're going to talk A's. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out sacktownsports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on sacktownsports.com.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, the Hot Tub Store, and Cattleman's.
Kevin Lewis with National Garage Door, reminding you that in Sacramento, National Garage Door is the king of garage doors. We service, sell, and install garage doors and openers. Call us today for your basketball special. A new 16x7 Rainer garage door with installation and a belt drive opener for only $24.49 installed. Give us a call today, 916-638-4554.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort.
Do you have sore feet, an aching back, or plantar fasciitis? Then get to the Good Feet store nearest you for your free arch support fitting. Good Feet arch supports are only available at the Good Feet store.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Since you probably can't afford your own sports psychologist, Golf Monthly's Fergus Bissett offers 5 golf psychology tips to help you play better. First, stay in the present. If your mind is ahead of you, how can you focus on the shot at hand? Second, every shot is a new challenge. The objective of every shot is to get the ball in the hole in the least amount of strokes. Go do it. 3, the past is the past. Many of us dwell on the past. Not good. Clear your mind and move on to the next shot. 4, never surrender. Some give up on their rounds too quickly. Your fortunes on the course can change with one swing or one decent break. Lastly, stay positive on the greens. If you're having one of those days where the putts don't drop, focus on the positives. If you're putting on your intended line, that's a good thing. Keep it up and they'll begin to fall. And remember, it's a game, so go out there and have some fun. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa. When you hear the words, the whole store is on sale, if you're like me, you're thinking, this is worth my attention. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word or two about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Right now, Naturewood's whole store is on sale during their exceptional home sale. Now your mind is probably doing backflips trying to decide where to start. Would you like to refresh your living room? Would you like to restyle your bedroom? Or maybe you want to redesign your home office. No matter whether it's your dining room, kids' rooms, or accents and accessories, Naturewood's unique store-wide home sale offers savings in every department and savings on every brand like Stickley, Artisan Home, Stanton, Flex Steel, Omnia, and all the rest of our award-winning furniture. When it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable home sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sacktown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting sacktownsports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sacktown Sports. Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
The 916. Can we talk A's now? Jeez. Our future temporary major league team, Mason bleeping Miller. That's right, 916. The Oakland A's bullpen has allowed 0 runs over their last 23 and a third innings pitched. Their combined line over that stretch, 23 and a third innings pitched, 8 hits, 0 earned runs, 3 walks, and 29 Ks.
Crazy.
The A's are 10-0 when leading after 7 innings. You know what that reminds me of, Chris?
What's that?
That 7-8-9 kind of shutdown the Kansas City Royals when they lost to the Giants. How often, after 162 games, how often do you run it back? That was we just talked about this. Revenge seasons. Nobody talks about it because it's the Royals.
Right.
But the Royals with the shady revenge season,
crazy.
They lose to the Giants and then come right back.
Heartbreaking fashion.
And Lorenzo Cain, my guy, and the rest of the crew, the 7-8-9 who shut the door, they come back and they win the World Series the very next season.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a great point. Yeah, it's definitely because they're the Royals. That's absolutely why
nobody
talks
cares
about it. But I mean, yeah.
And now they stink again.
It's up there with the Spurs did the same thing, obviously, with the Ray Allen shot. Like you had the Ray Allen shot, and then the next season, the Spurs go on their revenge tour, kill the Heat in the finals. The Royals definitely pretty much did the same thing. That Game 7 with Bumgarner, I can't imagine. If I were a Royal fan, I would go to sleep every night just cursing Madison Bumgarner's name.
Right.
And, it was a very unfortunate, miraculous performance from their side of things. And, they definitely came back and took care of business. But are you trying to say that the A's are on their way?
I'm trying to say that the A's
next year, Sacramento could be hoisting I'll
put it to you like this. I'll put it to you like this. The A's have now won 2 series in a row. Okay. They did not win the Orioles series, but they did just win the Pirates series. They took 1 from the Orioles. They're in Baltimore, and then they lost the next. Oh, no. Sorry, I'm looking at too many things. They did win 2 series.
There we go. We're back on the hype train.
They beat and these are all close games. That's why these closer numbers are so crazy. They beat the Orioles 2 out of 3, okay, in Baltimore, by the way. And the Orioles, the hot young team, all right? So they beat the Orioles 2 out of 3, and they've already won the series against the Pirates. They have a chance to sweep the Pirates today, starting at 12:37. And after that, they host the Marlins, who are also terrible. So the A's could after this next stretch of games, right now the A's, I think we just did this, Chris, the A's are 14-17. I mean, after this, they could be on the right side of 500. And, you have some young studs that we do love on this team. Lawrence Butler, Tyler Nevin, Brent Rooker, Seth Brown. Esteury Ruiz is now, he's in and out as he was. Shea Langelier. So they got some guys, J.J. Bleday, that can do some things. J.J. Bleday last night was 2 for 4, and he had 2 dingers, J.J. Bleday. So the A's, look, man, if they're starting to get good right before they come to Sacramento, I think people would go either way. They're doing better than even the owners think they would. And Vivek, they're sitting here talking. Maybe they took that as disrespect. Hey, Vivek, you talking about Shohei and John Fisher talking about Aaron Judge? What about us?
Yeah.
What about the actual players on your team? And I'm going to take that as disrespect. I think the A's did. They still have a losing record, of course, but they're playing some teams that aren't very good in the Pirates and the Marlins, and they can finish up this. They can sweep the Pirates today and then do what they need to do against the Marlins, and they could be on the right side of 500.
Yeah, sure. I mean, and, that's crazy enough, but that's a miracle for this A's team from where they were last year. I mean, last year they were on pace at this point to set the worst record in MLB history. So, if I'm not mistaken, their bullpen last year was absolutely absolutely atrocious as well. So the fact that they flipped it around, I'm not banking on them to be good by next year. Definitely not. I don't think that
they could be watchable though.
Maybe that would be definitely a nice development for sure, because I think everyone was expecting pretty much what Vivek and John Fisher laid out, where you're just going for the other team. And it would be nice to, have at least something to look forward to from the A's side. So maybe you could go to a Thursday game against the Minnesota Twins and have something to look forward to, maybe a player or two that you can recognize and hope for a big performance from. Definitely, I think it's a good step for the A's, I'm sure, but I don't know if I'm going to hold out hope for them to be even decent by the time they're in Sacramento, because the history will tell us that Mason Miller will probably be gone by the trade deadline.
Well, we're not doing that, Chris. It's going to be different now in Sacramento. They're talking about getting talent and in preparation to get to Vegas. So who knows? And they're doing this without Zach Geloff, who was shut down. He was placed on the 10-day injured list with a strained left oblique. And Zach Geloff is a guy, he is a complete stud.
Yeah.
Drafted in 2021, already in the big league. So they're winning these games without their guys. So once they get him, you would think they would be rolling even more. So yeah, it's as good as it's going to get on the A's front. And, I do think it's a good call as they are coming to Sacramento. We know there's all the logistics and the business side of things, but as far as the actual baseball is concerned, don't you worry, 916. We will continue to give updates throughout the Major League Baseball season, and especially if they continue to do this. And if they move off of it, whatever it is, we'll handle it. But right now, Mason Miller is in Oakland A, and that is all that matters. I'll tell you what, Chris, I really cannot imagine 103 miles per hour.
No.
Absolutely. I love when they have the ump cam, because I still don't know if it does it justice.
No,
the ump cam,
it doesn't.
But it's the closest that you'll get. And sometimes they do batter cams. The fastest that I've ever seen was 96. That's the fastest. And it was a joke.
I stood in front of a pitching machine once that I think threw like 70 or 65, and I was like, no, I said 70 or 65, not 90. And even that was
what's coming.
And I knew what was coming, and that's when I learned, you have to swing before it gets you have to almost anticipate where and that was at 65, 70, and I'm nowhere near the baseball player that you were, and I'm sure you're nowhere near the player that Juan Soto is. So it's I could not imagine having 103 just, it would literally be a blink. And that's why, baseball needs, I think baseball, to your point, I don't know if this is where you were going to go with the ump cams and the batter cams, but baseball does need to get with the program in terms of getting those kind of angles on the broadcast, because I do think that is something that could maybe attract a casual fan is to try and fully understand how ridiculous what you're watching is. And I don't know how you could better do it than showing that angle of just how much movement there are, not just the speed, because you'll get 100 with some actual movement, and that's just not possible to touch.
Yeah. And, I guess it's my cross to bear. Whenever I go to games, whoever I go with, they've told me that they enjoy it more, because not that they're asking me to do this, but I'm telling them what's happening beyond what they're watching.
Sure.
So how hard it is to steal in that situation, what you should be looking for here. And I'm not patting myself on the back.
Right.
I'm saying that baseball needs to figure out a way to do that in a better way. Yeah. Bring sports science back.
Sure.
Mason Miller throws faster than a Lamborghini on a Tuesday morning, whatever the case may be. I'm looking here, Chris. So the 96 that I saw, it was from a guy named Pat Light. Okay. He went to Monmouth, and I got in there, and you talk about not knowing what's coming. He threw, I struck out twice. I went 0 for 2, and I think I grounded out, but I grounded out the last time, but he was already out by then. He ended up getting drafted to the Red Sox, and I'm looking up his stats now. He has 1 loss in the major league. So really? I did face a major leaguer. Yes. Yeah. Yes. He was a complete, he threw gas to me, and that was 96. So I can only imagine 103. That's crazy town, and you have no clue what's coming. And these guys are doing it with splitters and cutters and things like that. So just to put into perspective how good Mason Miller is as far as that gas that he's been throwing, it's pretty outstanding. All right, let's get to Charles Barkley and what he had to say about TNT, because, I mean, I think it kind of broke, but we didn't realize how deep this is and how much things can change. Let's hear from Charles Barkley.
Now, I put out an article today with Andrew Marchand in the New York Times.
Yeah.
You know, I just signed a 10-year deal 2 years ago, but one of the things I did, I put an opt-out after a couple years in case, because I wanted to make sure I covered my ass when it comes to this situation. If I wanted to go to Amazon because we thought it was going to be Apple, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So the one thing I did in my new contract, I'm 2 years into a 10-year deal. And when I sit down, I said, wait a minute. Now, if you guys lose the NBA, I want to make sure that I can get out of here.
Right.
And so I am actually in a really great position. And so whether we go to, like I say, we knew it was going to be Amazon and Apple, but we didn't know NBC was going to come out the woodwork. But the one thing I particularly did in my contract, I put an opt-out clause in there. Nice. So I'm not, listen, I love TNT. They've been great to me.
Sure.
But if they lose the NBA, I want to make sure I had all my I's dotted and T's crossed. So
we will react to that and what that means for the future of everybody's favorite basketball show when we return. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Keegan Murray is Sacktown Sports.
Out to Keegan Murray, straight away for three, and Keegan knocks down the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Keegan Murray, and you're listening to the home of Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Stirring fiber, exercising, frequent trips to the store for more laxatives and fiber. Sounds like your constipation with belly pain is a lot to manage. But if your symptoms that keep coming back are signs of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
How do you think they would do if it did get shut down? So basically, before the break, we played some audio from Charles Barkley, who basically said, I'm solid.
Yeah.
If this thing goes south.
Said, I saw this coming.
Yes, I'm good. But besides that, I don't know about everybody else.
Right.
And if Peacock or Amazon, if somebody else could get the NBA, but would they also get that show specifically?
I don't think so. I mean, they would have to negotiate with those guys individually and then create essentially the same show, but in a different set and all that stuff and try and do all the same bells and whistles. But no, I mean, they're all independent contracts. And so, I mean, if Chuck has an opt-out after his deal, that sounds like he can get out of his and sign to wherever, but I don't know the specifics of Chuck or of Ernie and Kenny and Shaq, obviously. Like, I would imagine those guys probably have something similar. I'd imagine they probably have had multiple conversations about the possibility of this. So I would assume they would all be prepared for this, but who knows? Because and we were kind of talking about it in the pre-show, like if that show is like a Jenga tower, how many of those pieces can be pulled out, and could you replace them and still have a semblance of the same show that everybody knows and loves? I don't know. I kind of think that's, I don't even know, even if you just same guys and put them on a different set. I don't know if that's even different because, you know, there's just so much that goes into it. Like, you know, the pre-show meetings and all the people at Turner
working
and
with
TNT.
with all new people.
Yeah, all new people. It's all the behind the scenes stuff that you don't really think about that kind of make the show able to do what it does.
As a guy behind the scenes.
Yes. Behind the glass, if you will.
Behind the glass. The behind the scenes work that goes into that show, the chemistry.
There's like what, 4 Nates probably on that show? Honestly?
More than that.
Like at least.
The chemistry they have, like think about when someone says something, Barkley says something funny to Shaq, and then you hear someone laughing in the Shaq eyes him down. Like they're all friends. Like you can't take those 4 talking heads, bring them to NBC without having a majority of that staff come with them, which is another huge problem. They have their own ecosystem.
Yes,
who's going to set up the ping pong balls? Who knows how to tie Shaq's shoes to the to his chair to trip? Like there's so many little nuances that make that show so great that these guys have built off of the personalities. It's so important to their dynamic.
Well, and there's also the layer of arguably the most important part is they have new bosses. Like how many times, like how many bosses will allow you to do what they do? They don't follow a rundown. They don't follow traditional television, anything. Chuck will say, Chuck has been on this disrespecting what I don't even know what the area in Louisiana is, but like,
and he talks about like the women.
He talks about the women of San Antonio and stuff.
It's like 1-2 back to 1.
And these are all
stuff like that.
Like these are all classics that we love that make the show. But you also have to have the leeway to do it. And what are the odds that, you know, Turner, TNT, like TNT is a little bit loose. It's a little bit more of a, you know, they got CNN, like they allow a little bit longer of a leash. I don't know if NBC, which is one of the, you know, 3 biggest broadcast things that we have in the US, like I don't know if they'll allow those guys, even if it is on Peacock, to, no pun intended, fly the way that they fly or spread their wings the way that they do on TNT.
Well, if they're letting Sims in the NFL,
oh my gosh,
do drafts and
30 out of 10 point right there. That's
Phil Sims.
Great point.
It's FCC regulated versus cable too. NBC if it was aired on TV.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to say overthinking, but I do think we might be overthinking this. I think if I think the only thing would be contracts. I think anybody signing them would let them do whatever they want. That's how
easy
I
to
feel.
say. That's easy to say, but then once Chuck creates a controversy, like, and people are knocking on that CEO's door and saying, how are you going to let Charles Barkley say that in front of, I don't know, whatever, 50,000, I don't know how many people watch these things. But
to Nate's point, I mean, Peacock shows more, is able to do more than TNT.
That's on Peacock, though. You're not going to get nearly the viewers that you get.
To play your devil's advocate, Chris, we all can't forget that NBC or Peacock had exclusive rights to the Chiefs-Dolphins game this year, and it did big numbers. Like, I think we were all shocked by those numbers.
That show is different, though, because, is it the same setup where Peacock, is this the NBA in general? So then the game would play and then go right to them.
It has to.
So, yes.
Because in that perspective, then, okay. But no, nobody is going to go to Peacock.
Right. For the pre.
Oh, the game is on this channel, and now I got to go to Peacock. No one's doing that.
You're not spending $2.5 billion for that.
No,
that's
stupid. You have to get the NBA game, and it's just people that are.
Oh no, they're
out.
paying for the rights. They're paying for the broadcast rights. 1,000%.
So if you're already there,
the
so basically, this is when everybody joined. Ernie Johnson has been with Inside the NBA. That is from 1990. Kenny the Jet joined in 1998. Charles Barkley joined in 2000, and Shaq was in 2011.
Yeah. I'm honestly shocked you feel the way you do about that, Alan. I feel like you know the importance of, not just picking up and moving. Like, it's gonna be so different. It's gonna be such a different.
What do you mean though? I'm just
dealing with like your boss and dealing with the CEO and dealing with. People are going to have to figure out how to deal with Barkley, how to deal with Shaq, and I don't think it's as easy as just being hands off with them.
No,
I think you have to find the limit.
No, what I'm saying is that as far as the skirting the line thing, I think whoever's grabbing them already understands what they're getting into. That's the only thing I'm saying. All the other stuff, as far as the differences and who they're working with, yeah, I think all of that stuff is legit. I don't think it's going to be a seamless process. And if they lose one person, I don't know. I kind of feel like it might be cooked because it's
you
like
mean
the
one of the
Temptations,
four
right?
guys.
It's like with the Temptations when they lost David Ruffin. It's any of these guys, right? I mean, Destiny's Child did okay. They lost the fourth, and
that 70s show without Venom, Topher Grace. I don't know why that came to mind.
Sure,
you can't lose.
Most of the time, it doesn't hit the same.
No,
and if it did hit the same, you better get another really good host.
We see that show with other hosts too, and it is not the same. You're never really, not never, but 90%, 95% of the time, you're seeing highlights from those four.
They did a version
clips.
of that with March Madness, right? Wasn't it everybody besides, it was Shaq wasn't there, somebody wasn't there.
Oh, yeah, they always do that. Yeah. Clark Kellogg, I think.
Yeah,
in there.
It's not the same. Every single character, a brief mention earlier, peek behind the scenes, like we were kind of debating if Kenny could go.
Right.
In my opinion, Kenny cannot go. He may be the least, quote unquote, least important to the four.
Right.
But you need all four of those characters because they all have the chemistry. They all play a role.
Yeah.
And it's silly to say, but it's so true. It's literally a TV show and it's literally entertainment. It's not just like news or reporting on the game. Those four characters rely on each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and they all play off each other too.
Exactly.
And I'm trying to think, like,
they all play their role.
Because even Draymond is like the most obvious. If Chuck and Shaq one of them were to not be able to make it, like Draymond is the next person who's probably best suited to kind of fill those roles. And to Nate's point, like, I think even that's a different show.
Oh my God.
Draymond's a lot more serious in terms of taking himself serious. Shaq doesn't take himself seriously at all in the best ways, but
then it'll feel forced. Draymond's going to do the ring thing.
Yeah, it'll probably he'll probably actually get upset.
Think about where they sit too. Like even you think about small details like that. You have Shaq and Barkley across from each other because they go at it. And then you have the instigator, Kenny, in the middle. And then the guy who, quote unquote, is the driver, runs the show with Ernie in between them to like keep that dynamic.
Right.
So they're always involved. If you have Draymond there, that's just another like loud guy.
Well,
this
is
like another
retire. I think that there's a difference between if Chuck retired or if something like this happened, because I think it'll be received differently. If somebody says, hey, I'm just good off of it, I think it'll be received differently than, oh, rights got lost, somebody got lost in translation, and now there's a difference between
that's way different
filling
a
in
peaceful transition versus a takeover,
a forced transition. Right. All right, when we return, it is time. Why did I wake up this morning feeling better about Malik Monk's chances of staying in Sacramento? Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Arnold Law Firm.
I'm Dirk Verdorn in the KCRA3 Weather Center, and sunny skies this afternoon. A bit breezy, though, with north winds 15 to 20, gusting up to 30 miles per hour, and temperatures that will be warming into the lower 80s for daytime highs. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down in a heartbeat. So remember to be a little more alert on the road and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
Hi, it's Brian from Bennett's Restaurants. Springtime is a fun time. So to celebrate, we created a new menu of our favorites from Baja. Plenty of new food. Enjoy grilled skirt steak, wild prawns with pineapple, fresh sea bass, and a shrimp tostada with piles of shrimp. Or maybe our fresh empanadas stuffed with carnitas and cheese are more your speed. Enjoy our newest dessert, Kylie's Churros, with a vanilla cream center. Visit Bennett'sRestaurants.com and come enjoy our new Baja menu today. Eat well, stay well.
ZZ Top, the Elevation Tour.
Friday, May 3rd, 7:30 p.m. The venue at Thunder Valley with special guest Foghat, ZZ Top, playing all their classic hits. The venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com.
Maida Chevy saves you $10,000 off MSRP on every new 2024 half-ton Silverado, LT, RST, and LTZ in stock after rebate. Over 50 to choose from. Exclusive. All in-stock pricing at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See deal for details. Ends 5/15/24.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a walk-up with central air and a skylight, and you found it. Now, every Friday night, you get to fall asleep to the sound of your downstairs neighbors' dance parties. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Elevate your golf game at Timber Creek Golf Course in Roseville. Just named to the prestigious Golfer's Choice 2024 Top 25 Public Golf Courses in all of California by Golf Pass. Timber Creek offers an unparalleled experience. Our revamped practice facility features a grass driving range, expanded putting greens, and a chipping area complete with sand traps. Whether you're a pro or just starting your golf journey, Timber Creek is the place to be. Visit us and discover why we're the talk of Sacramento and beyond. Unwind and tee off at Timber Creek Golf Course.
Guys, this month only, Revive Men's Health Sacramento offers qualified patients a free supply of ED medication, plus a free ED treatment producing immediate results. Book your free exam and consultation today. Call 916-365-4566 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, the Hot Tub Store, and Cattleman's.
This segment is brought to you by Aztec Solar. Skip the sales pitch. Calculate your solar savings at yourpowersavings.com.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Chris woke up this morning, sun was shining, and I started to see some things pop up about the free agency market and trades. And I started thinking, in a lot of ways in Sacramento, everybody says Sacramento's the underdog and Sacramento doesn't get talked about as much as it should for multiple different standpoints. But specifically keeping it to basketball, you have De'Aaron Fox, who was a bit of a snub when it comes to the All-Star. You have Domantas Sabonis, a bit of a snub when it comes to an All-Star. A big snub, okay? I would say De'Aaron was the smaller snub. Sabonis was the bigger one. And then you have Malik Monk getting snubbed, if you will, for the sixth man of the year. And with that being said, I think this is the one time this might actually help the Kings in terms of keeping Malik Monk. And we've talked about this a little bit in different ways, but the more I thought about it and I see all these things pop up, okay? And everything you're seeing, and we spoke with Matt George yesterday, and it was great, by the way. Go and check that out on YouTube. But we spoke with Matt George, and he said that the Magic kind of all over the place when it comes to what they want. They do want Malik, but they don't want to pay him more than they would pay Suggs because they drafted Suggs. That's their guy. And the more I see it, the more I'm thinking, did Malik Monk already know all this based on what he said in his exit interview? So before we continue, let's get to Brian Windhorst, who was on Get Up this morning, and he's talking about Paul George and his interest in the Sixers, who is another team that we discussed having the cap space to bring in somebody like Malik Monk. Here it is.
When Ben Simmons, didn't work out as a running mate, when James Harden didn't work out as a running mate, when Philly hasn't been able to, when they made the Harden trade, hasn't been able to add another star player, there were people wondering, is James Harden going to put up with this? Is he going to put up with this supporting cast where they keep losing these players? And the answer is, yeah, because he's got his running mate. This is a guy who the Sixers weren't necessarily sure. They went out and acquired James Harden because they weren't sure Maxey could play this role. Well, Maxey has won it. And this summer, he's going to sign a 5-year max contract to stay there. And Embiid, I suspect this summer, is going to sign a contract extension to stay there. And whether or not the Sixers are going to make the ultimate run this year because of all the injuries and because everything is going on, they now have a big two. And they have $50 million in cap space this summer. And if you're a free agent, like, say, Paul George, you're watching this series going, look at these dudes. Is there an opportunity there? And if even if it's not Paul, it could be somebody else. That is the Maxey story. Not that who's the face or whatever, not that who's more important. It's the duo of them together, and with the opportunity to bring in a third, that's what we're going to watch this offseason.
So that is Brian Windhorst. You also have Ramona Shelburne, and here's a quote. The Orlando Magic are interested in Paul George. So there's two teams that are paying very close attention to Paul George, the Orlando Magic and the Philadelphia 76ers, because both of them have the money to throw at him and have a need for a wing just like him, a veteran guy. All right, that's two teams right there that we were worried about for Malik Monk. Now, hang with me here. The Spurs, we know that they're interested in Trae Young, and the Lakers are interested in Trae Young. All right, so when Malik Monk, during his exit interview, what did he say? He said, I know I can leave, get more money, and be in a worse situation. And we thought, that's interesting. Why didn't Malik Monk bring up that he could leave and be in a better situation, right? Or as good of a situation, which would be the Sixers, which would be the Magic, maybe the Spurs, I'm not sure. Malik is talking about the other teams that you brought up, the Detroit Pistons, right? Teams like that, the Jazz,
the
teams
Hornets,
like that. So did Malik know that he won't be the first pick for some of these teams that feel like they're really close? Did he know that I'm not going to be the first pick for the Orlando Magic, which I spoke about a source confirming that as well. And that source didn't even bring up Paul George. He only spoke about Klay Thompson and D'Lo. So now you have D'Lo, who didn't have the best series. We would have wanted him to have a better series to trick some teams here. But you got D'Lo, you got Klay Thompson, now Paul George, who is a bit of a different position, but he's a star, so it doesn't really matter. I'm starting to think, Chris, that it's going to get to the point where, and now you have a Magic team who they don't even want to pay Malik. They would pay PG, Paul George, more than Suggs, but I don't really want to pay Malik more than Suggs.
So that puts a cap at that number.
That puts a cap at that number. I don't know if we're going to see from a good team. I don't know if we're going to see anything past $20 million for a contending team. Now, that goes back to what Malik already said. If I want 22 to go to Detroit or 22 to go to the Jazz, which I don't even know if the Jazz would offer that to Malik, because with Jordan Clarkson, that's a Spider-Man meme to me. I don't think you need both of them. I think that Malik might already, because this has been out in the open for so long. I think that Malik, and maybe I'm just trying to convince myself here, I think that Malik and his agent already knew, hey, we're basically a tier 2. Okay, so a tier 2 could be somebody's tier 1, but that somebody probably isn't going to be the Sixers, and probably we're not going to be the first pick for the Sixers or the Magic. You will be the first pick. Now, the money might be similar, but we know that you will be everything for the Kings. You're going to go to the Magic because they did not get Paul George. You're going to go to the Sixers because they did not get Paul George. You're going to go to the Spurs because they did not get Trae Young. What do you want to do? Am I crazy here?
No, everything you said makes a ton of sense. And, it might be a little bit of an optimistic viewpoint, but it's not a crazy one. Like, it's not, you don't have to do a lot of stretching to reach all the conclusions that you reached. And I would just add that, does Malik want to wait too? Because he might, maybe, who knows? Like you said, I mean, if Orlando does strike out on Paul George, maybe that offer does end up coming, but Sacramento is going to have that offer on the table pre-day one.
Yes.
They know what that offer is. They're going to let their intent be known from day one. And it's going to be interesting to your point. Like, and this is, again, where it becomes the ball's in Malik's court. This is all on his decision. Does he value that? Does he value the fact that Sacramento knows what they want? If they could offer him $25 million, I'm sure they would, but this is all that they can offer, and they're ready to throw it at him. And like you said, I mean, there's going to be all the perks that can't be on a contract. Like, hey, we'll put your face on a marquees, and we'll here in Sacramento, if you re-sign, it's going to take 2 years of sucking for you to actually get slander here.
Yeah,
like if you go to the Magic and you're not good for the first month of the season, everybody's going to be saying what a terrible signing. Oh my gosh, I can't believe they threw all this money at Malik Monk, a Hail Mary, and it came up flat, and now this set the Magic back 3 years, whatever. Here in Sacramento, that's not going to happen. So it is a matter of how much Malik values being wanted. And I think Sacramento definitely wants him. And to your point, Malik doesn't really seem like a guy who would take super kindly to be somebody's second fiddle. I think he's somebody who's going to say, look, everyone all season, to your point, has known I'm going to be a free agent. And if your attention and you've allotted money elsewhere, that's on you. You knew the free agents that were going to be available, and you decided to prioritize how you prioritize. Malik Monk, am going to prioritize what I'm going to prioritize, and I'm not going to be anybody's second fiddle. That's, again, probably a little bit optimistic in the Kings thought process, because if you're Malik's agent, you're just going to preach patience. You're going to say, wait, I promise the deals will come. The deals will come. Just wait. It's just a little bit of a scary proposition, because what if the deal that you keep waiting for comes and maybe they know, hey, the Sixers ended up getting Paul George, so that's actually a competitor that we don't have to worry about. Malik, you thought you were going to get 25 from us, but here's actually 21.
Right.
Because who are we competing against?
Yeah.
It's either us or Sacramento.
Right. And the thing is, Sacramento, he knows Sacramento is at a disadvantage because it's just going to be sitting there.
Yeah.
Right. It's
never going to get better. Yeah.
Right. And he can go around and say, okay, he can always come back to Sacramento whenever he wants to that deal. But look, we've talked about Naz Reid. He took less than what people thought he would take.
Sure.
Yesterday we talked about Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
He took less than what people thought he would take. And it's not always about the money. Austin Reeves could have got more money somewhere else, but he's playing the glitz and glam. I think Austin Reeves likes being in LA, and there's something to be said about, well, we know that doesn't drive Malik, because Malik has said time and time again, he likes being in Sacramento more than he likes being in LA. He just wants to kind of kick it and do it that way. So
there's also no guarantee here that these teams are going to throw 22 mil.
I think that, to your point, and as we talk about Sacramento, we might be overvaluing Malik Monk. Yeah. If you take your Kings fandom away and you are the Magic or you are a different team, depending on the team it is, how excited are you that you brought in Malik Monk? Right?
For $22 million.
For $22 million. Are you excited? Yes. But you know what you're going to say?
Damn good.
What else are you getting?
Yeah.
Because I think outside perspective would be, okay, if we're either getting Paul George or we're getting Malik Monk and somebody else. I don't think Malik Monk is the dude outside of Sacramento. I think the Magic would say, a Magic fan, if you can find him, would say, oh, let's get Malik Monk and somebody else.
Yeah.
Maybe the Sixers, but again, now the Sixers are in on a big fish. These teams want 3 big stars.
Yeah, and I'm gonna bring up the 2K GM thing and say, like, how can you not look at the market and say, Austin Reeves is making $14 million. Naz Reid is making $12 million. Even Grayson Allen is making 17. How does it really make sense when all of these guys who, now forget if you think Malik is at the top of that tier, how can Malik be in a discussion pretty much with all of those guys? I mean, Naz, 6th man of the year. Austin Reeves pretty much does that's the Malik role in LA right now. How can you say those guys are worth this, but then Malik is worth just almost double what Naz Reid makes.
He's not.
You could argue that no GM is going to say it makes sense unless you view Malik as your starter, which after the conversation with Matt yesterday, he said Jalen Suggs is just as much, if not a bigger part of the Orlando Magic future than what they would view Malik. I don't know how you could pay him $22 million. And again, unless you absolutely just think he is a starter and there was more than what he showed in Sacramento, I don't see how you could pay him $22 million when everybody else who's in the same conversation or category of him is getting paid significantly less.
I feel fairly confident in saying that there isn't a contender out there that's going to give Malik more than, I really want to say 20, but I'll say 21.
Sure.
And honestly, you know what? Whatever. I don't think that there's a contender out there that's going to give Malik more than 20 mil. A contender.
Yeah. It depends. Yeah.
A contender.
Yeah.
Okay. The Jazz, Detroit, whoever, sure. 22, whatever. But I don't think the Sixers are going to give Malik more than 20.
It depends how much they strike out. Philly might. It just depends if they get a guy or not.
Yeah.
Because they have the money. Philly has $50 million open, so they could throw that money if they get desperate enough. But that's out of desperation. And again, that's Malik waiting for that offer to be there because Philly had struck out on
Paul
everything
George
else.
and everybody else.
Yeah.
All right. When we return, continuing the conversation now, whether or not Paul George wants to go to Philly with another star that he can't depend on, then that's something else to bring up as well. Continuing the conversation. Also, yeah, Chris is going to respect my sources and my thoughts when it comes to LeBron and JJ Redick. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Matched De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
The countdown to Miss Twin Peaks 2024 is on. Head over to MissTwinPeaks2024.com to learn about the contest and cast your 5 votes for your favorite Twin Peaks girl.
Were you recently in a car accident? Don't let the insurance companies push you around. Turn to the experts at Gonzalez Law. Our team specializes in car accident cases, wrongful termination, and criminal defense, fighting tirelessly to get you the compensation and justice you deserve. With years of experience and a track record of success, we don't settle for less, and neither should you. Visit ZachLegalDefense.com or call 916-304-9187 for a free consultation. Gonzalez Law, your advocate in the fight for justice.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Seems like all this artificial intelligence stuff stirs up the age-old debate of man versus machine. Hi, it's Dan from the Good Feet store, and let me ask you, would you let a robot cut your hair? Would you rely on an app to teach a kid to ride a two-wheeler? Let's face it, some things require the human touch. People come to us seeking a solution to foot, leg, and back pain after trying all kinds of things recommended by in-store machines or website blurbs. An impersonal, generic approach to solving a problem that's unique to you. No wonder they usually don't work. At the Good Feet store, you'll meet with an arch support specialist who will take the time to learn about your needs, your feet, your lifestyle, and then fit you from over 300 models and sizes of arch supports, designed for pain relief, better balance, and more comfort.
Do you have sore feet, an aching back, or plantar fasciitis? Then get to the Good Feet store nearest you for your free arch support fitting. Good Feet arch supports are only available at the Good Feet store.
It's been said an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And when it comes to a nice, cool summer, it's so true. Right now, get a complete air conditioner tune-up for just $59. Bonnie. Plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696355.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 911.
Not one teammate help him. Why, besides Max Money, would you stay there? And Embiid stinks as a teammate, in my opinion. Yeah, they definitely have an interesting dynamic. I tend to watch dynamics for some reason. I don't know. I think it started when KD got to the Warriors because it just fascinated me. And really after that is when a lot of these teams started taking big swings. So I like to watch body language and things like that. And they have a really interesting relationship. I mean, you know, you have people talking about we need to have a conversation about Maxey being another future face of the NBA, and a little bit of what you heard before the break with Brian Windhorst saying that it's not about that. He's just more reliable than Embiid, which I definitely think is true. Yeah, that was Andrea Carter on Get Up as well. Tyrese Maxey has to be in the conversation for future face of the league. Yeah, definitely a really, really interesting dynamic. And I wouldn't want to be a part of it. I mean, if you're Paul George, why would you want to go from playing with Kawhi, who you can't depend on, to playing with Embiid, who you can't depend on? I don't understand.
Great point. It's a great point. Yeah, it really wouldn't make much sense. I guess the thought is just, I mean, Maxey has been ridiculous, and you just think that maybe if with your presence there, it takes the load off of Joel's shoulders a bit, and maybe he can stay healthy just because he doesn't have such a heavy workload. But I don't think that's necessarily 100% the reason why Joel's been injured. I mean, he's been injured pretty much since he entered the league, and it was always just about figuring out how to get Joel healthy for a full season. And even now, they have not been able to do it. Literally, like you said, exactly like Kawhi Leonard. Even this season, Kawhi was about as healthy as he's ever been, and now in the most important games of their season, he's been out. So it's kind of one of those situations exactly like you listed or like you laid out there. PG would be going from one horror to another.
Yeah. So your choices are to go to Philly with Embiid or to go to Orlando. Yeah. And maybe
he could opt into his contract. He's like got a $48 million player option.
No, Chris,
yeah, which makes a lot of sense to me.
I'm being honest here. I'm not trying to be naive.
Yeah.
And I know we joke about it. The podcast P situation. If you're in Orlando, are you getting stars to go out to fly out to Orlando, or are you doing Zoom? Yeah. You know, it doesn't hit that Zoom stuff that we've moved on now. People want to see your butts in the seats. That's right. All in the same room. So are you really going to go to Orlando with Podcast P, and now all of a sudden you got to deal with that? And I'm being dead serious.
Part of his brand. It definitely is. I mean, he pulls some pretty amazing guests, like especially during summer and during the offseason. It's absolutely not. Like, I mean, it's still Florida.
Well, he would just go back to LA during the offseason.
Sure, but you could just stay there full year round and build the business out from LA. It makes a lot more sense at the very least. Like, I don't know. I think it's strange that everyone has just, maybe there's internal sourcing that I haven't seen reported, but I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Paul George is going to opt out. Like, I think there's a lot of reason for him to opt in, give this Clipper situation one more final. We talked about it yesterday with the Niners, one true last dance. It's in the Intuit Dome for the first season. It's going to be a great energy in that building. It's going to be really cool. And it's what Steve Ballmer wants. I'm sure Steve Ballmer can definitely make Paul George's time outside of basketball worthwhile if he wants to stay for the year, because Steve Ballmer's got a lot literally invested into that building popping off. So I think it makes a lot of sense. Like, I don't think Paul George has to leave. And, when I had him on my big fish list, it was not as a free agent. It was if he just wants to leave, but cash in on that $48 million, and maybe the Kings could hop in there. But I think it makes just as much sense if the other options are Orlando, or like you laid out with the Sixers, a pretty suspect Sixers situation. I'd probably just run it back one more year with the team that I got, and then make one more bag next offseason.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be something to monitor. And I don't really see him leaving, but it is funny that part of it is his brand and not just the basketball aspect. All right, another LA basketball player that
Paul George also from LA as well.
He is from LA. Yeah. Hey, once you come home, you know you can't leave home. No one says I'm leaving home. I'm leaving home. That's not how the song goes. Another LA baller who may or may not leave, LeBron James. Woj is speaking about LeBron and how his future may be changing a bit, or what he's deeming the most important.
Malika, in my conversations with Rich Paul, who obviously represents LeBron James, but will also represent Bronny James, is that the idea of them playing together is not a priority. It's not foremost, at least any longer in LeBron James's mind. That Rich Paul's goal here in the pre-draft process for Bronny James is to see if there's the right developmental system, organization, a place that can take a young player like Bronny James, who went 5 months without playing, after his heart episode, certainly limited him in his season at USC. And so if he does go in the draft, he's very likely would spend next year in the G League.
When did ESPN start throwing that music on?
They've always had the music. It's just better now.
Is it just like when you're really like starting to like get into a rhythm with your take? They're just like, throw that.
No, you know what it is? It's when they start showing highlights.
I think so.
It's the highlight reel.
I think it actually is.
There's an AI program that can get rid of background noise, but I've not subscribed to it. But I'm considering it for the show.
Just to get rid of the music.
No,
dude, when you're cutting audio, it sucks. Whatever. It's a TV thing.
Maybe we can do it for our show. I don't know. It's just like maybe it just like it lets you like you're just
let's get it
in
going.
the middle of a take, and then all of a sudden music just like spurs out of nowhere.
That's kind of Drape's takes in the next show.
A little bit, I guess
right.
so. Yeah, I guess maybe.
Okay, all right.
I'm not saying you have to do it. I was just.
There you go.
Well, I mean, and we were talking about this yesterday with the Bronny thing. Like, what is LeBron's true intentions?
Yes.
Like, what does he want out of the rest of his career? Definitely an interesting development for sure, because like I said yesterday, it seemed as if it was full steam ahead for all I care about is playing with my son, and everything else really doesn't matter. It'll all be ancillary after that. Okay. And I see why they do it. It makes me want to keep going. It gets the juices flowing a bit. And so, I mean, if the plan isn't to play with Bronny anymore, then I guess LeBron is focused on the right thing. A lot easier. Who knows how much of this is just lip service too? Maybe LeBron truly does still want to play with Bronny. He just doesn't want it as open in public and wants everybody to give Bronny a chance, because maybe if teams are saying, well, you're just going to end up in LA anyway, why should we even scout you? Because frankly, who even knows if you deserve to be scouted at that level? It just opens up more opportunity. I feel like Bronny is going to OKC, and I think LeBron, he's just talked a lot about the Thunder this year. It's been really weird.
Interesting.
He complimented Mark Dagnall earlier.
More wings.
He complimented Sam Presti earlier this year. Just really strange. Really, really strange activities from LeBron. So
and then LeBron, he can make his decision after the draft.
Yes. Absolutely, yeah.
So he's going to see. Maybe he wants Bronny to get a fair shake at teams being interested in him, and even though it probably won't do that much of a difference, but everybody knowing, okay, LeBron just wants, because like we said yesterday, they still would be the first father-son to be in the league at the same time. Yeah. They're going to play each other. We know the NBA is going to make sure they play each other, so they'll be the first. They will do something that's never been done. They didn't have to be on the same team. That was LeBron initially saying that. So now he can, hey, Bronny gets drafted where he gets drafted. Then I make a decision whether I want to opt out or just continue or stay in LA. It just gives more options for everyone. So I
can't wait for LeBron to criticize whatever team, like whatever coach isn't playing Bron. It's like, this is ridiculous. Just the subtweets that he's going to have next year.
And on Mind Game Pod.
Yes. And that's especially why he can't be on the Lakers, because he's got to complain about Bronny's playing time, and he can't complain if he's on the team.
On the same team. Yeah, that will be a tangled web for sure. All right. When we return, Kings player breakdown continues. We are finishing up the forwards. Next, we have Keegan Murray. After that, Sasha Vezenkov. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Hi, it's Brian from Bennett's Restaurants. Springtime is a fun time, so to celebrate, we created a new menu of our favorites from Baja. Plenty of new food. Enjoy grilled skirt steak, wild prawns with pineapple, fresh sea bass, and Sonoran beef enchiladas, to mention a few. Try our empanadas stuffed with carnitas and cheese. Love shrimp? Try the new shrimp tostada. We make great guacamole and salsa too. Enjoy our newest dessert, Kylie's Churros, with a vanilla cream center. Visit Bennett'sRestaurants.com and come enjoy the new Baja menu today. Eat well, stay well.
Hi, everyone. It's Emron Pilati, host of the True Sports Card Show here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday at 10 a.m. Would you like a chance to meet Ricky Henderson, Dennis Rodman, Johnny Manziel, Randy Johnson, Frank Thomas, Vlad Guerrero Sr., Dave Stewart, and our favorite Malik Monk, and meet over 90 sports card dealers all in one weekend? This is your chance to do it on May 17th through the 19th at the Roseville Fairgrounds at the Sacramento Autograph Expo. You can get all the information about the show on our website at SacAutographExpo.com. That's SacAutographExpo.com.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find: happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Sacramento sports fans, get ready to amp up your summer with the Sacktown Sports live events calendar. We've got an incredible lineup. First up, on May 24th, don't miss Tribal Seeds as they bring their reggae beats to Ace of Spades, presented by Live Nation. And mark your calendars for June 8th when NF takes the stage at the Golden One Center. Visit livenation.com for tickets. And don't miss out on the California State Fair summer lineup. On July 15th, experience Queen Nation, a tribute to Queen. Catch Flo Rida on July 23rd, Bush on July 24th, and the ultimate throwback with a 90s rewind show on July 29th, featuring Tone Loc, CNC Music Factory, and Digital Underground. Looking ahead to August 4th, get ready for the Outlaw Music Festival at the Toyota Amphitheater, presented by Live Nation. It's a star-studded event featuring Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and John Mellencamp. The Sacktown Sports live events calendar, your ultimate playbook for the best shows and events in town. Stay tuned to Sacktown Sports for exclusive updates and your chance to win tickets.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
KHTK-AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sacktown Sports.
Live and local. This is Sacktown Sports.
That's right. It's going to be hot in the city. Love it.
Oh, yeah.
Love it,
Well,
love it, love it.
I don't think so. I don't know if you'll love it. I don't know if you'll love
The
it.
State Fair.
Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Don't catch
I
me
love
dead.
it. Hey, I'm telling y'all right now, you're going to see me at the fair very often. Okay, my personal favorite, which I actually don't think they had at the State Fair. I got this at the Alameda County Fair. Deep fried Snickers.
Oh,
I don't know if I saw that one. I saw
definitely-
deep fried Oreo, deep fried Twinkie.
They've got it.
Because, my doctor said I can have one deep fried Snickers a year.
I don't know if I've ventured into the deep fried, like, cake.
In the Midwest, they get deep fried butter.
All of it.
Mm-hmm.
All of it. And
Why did your doctor say? Why are you talking to your doctor about deep frying Oreos?
Can I be honest? My doctor didn't say that.
No.
Okay.
I just say it as a joke.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh.
I've
It's a good
done
one, though.
homemade deep fried stuff, and it's messy.
I wouldn't do that.
I would
It's
not do
crazy. You
that
got to do it in
at
the
all.
driveway.
I mean, I fried shrimp.
Fires.
Sounds
I'm just not
illegal.
doing that.
It sounds
Yeah.
very illegal.
It's pretty good. Tastes good.
Huh.
Peanut oil.
You could just use the air fryer too.
This was
not
before
the
air
same.
fryers.
It's not the same. It's
It
not
really
the
isn't.
same. Yeah,
Yeah.
summertime, air conditioned pools, a little bit warm out, probably a nice 82 degrees.
Oh, you're
Outside?
Sacramento.
Oh no,
dude.
no, no,
It's already
No.
surpassed that.
no.
This is like
82 at night.
92.
Enjoy this month.
Yes.
Enjoy this month that
I
we're
can't
halfway
wait for
through.
it. 102.
No,
Just sweating.
no.
We're gonna be wishing for 100.
Does your AC work good in your house and your car?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Better make sure. Yeah, the car's the worst part.
I
Where
love when the
always
seatbelt
forget how
burns you a little bit.
disgusting it is.
When the seatbelt,
Yeah.
the metal burns
Do you have leather
a little
seats too?
Mhm.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
With shorts
Just
on.
Skin rips off as you get out of the car.
I love it.
No
Yeah.
thanks. No thanks.
You're like a snake shedding every day.
Essentially,
That's crazy.
Nate's got his drop top, so
Yeah.
he's just gonna be
That
enjoying the
stays
summer.
up. That except for morning time
You see
when it's
Nate in the
90s.
drop top, you know it's summertime.
You know it's
Yeah,
time.
my
You know
bike
what time
hanging
it is.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Got a bike. Got to
Yeah.
continue to
You
bike.
got a lot of crud for that.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah. Well,
Not from me. 916 says,
the worst from you.
do you guys realistically think that the Kings won't be able to upgrade a ton unless they give up Keegan? Well, you said the magic words for today, 916, Keegan Murray, and we are breaking Keegan Murray down, not necessarily in that way, as we've done a lot of these conversations, but just to answer quickly, I mean, a ton? Yes. Now, I don't know what a ton means.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you can still Kevin and HB are good trade pieces, and you can throw Davion Mitchell in there, who's a young guard. You can throw Keon Ellis in there, who's on a great.
But I don't know
contract.
what a ton. What you just said, I don't know if that gets you, quote unquote, a ton. I think you need
Depends
Keegan.
what a ton is.
Yes,
Are you
if
looking
you're
for-
talking
Yeah.
sign and trade with Paul George, yes, I'm pretty sure Keegan has to be in that conversation.
But is Larry Markkinen a ton? Because I would think you can get Larry Markkinen without giving up Keegan.
Probably not. And then I would say Larry Markkinen's a ton.
I would.
Yeah.
I would, but I think it depends on what these. I think it's individual basis because not everybody knows necessarily what Larry Markkinen brings. So I think there might be a name that doesn't feel overwhelming, but the reality is it's a really big deal. So I don't know. I think I would think that they can get a deal done without Keegan. A ton is up to you, but I think that you can definitely upgrade your team without trading Keegan pretty significantly.
There you go. Well, that will kick off our Keegan breakdown.
Buddy.
Chris, you have the stats comparing
Sure.
last season and this season. Let's get right
Let's
into it.
get into it. Keegan Murray on this season averaged 15.2 points per game. That is a full 3 points higher than his rookie season, which is absolutely incredible. Of course, taking the big leap, especially I think it's good that he averaged 15 points, had 3 points better than he did last year, and yet it still felt like there was a lot of meat on the bone, right? Like there was still a lot of offensive growth, and Keegan could have shot the ball better in general. Even the shots he took, we feel like he missed a lot of open looks that he probably made last year, probably because he was more fatigued than he was last year, having to do more. But still, the fact that it didn't feel amazing, it didn't feel like this massive leap forward, and still averaged 3 points higher than he did last year. I think that's huge. 5.5 rebounds per game this season. That's up almost a full rebound per game. 1.7 assists. That's almost half assist more than he was at last year. And, that's definitely a number where I would ideally like to see that get up to 3. If you can get up to 4, I think that would be incredible. HB's been somebody who's like hovering around one, maybe high ones for assists per game in his career. So if you can get a forward who play makes more, that is really the final stage of development in my eyes for Keegan Murray. I think that's pretty far down the line, but still 0.5 assists per game more this year than he did last year in his rookie season. That's definitely improvement. Field goal percentage, Keegan shot 0.1% better. So pretty much shot exactly the same from the field. The 3-point percentage, which is something I just kind of alluded to, was down the most. It was definitely the biggest drop from rookie to sophomore year in terms of Keegan's numbers. He shot 35.8% from three this year. That is a full 5.3% lower than he shot last year. And that's super significant, obviously, because Keegan is a shooter. At the end of the day, yes, we ask him to defend. We ask him to put the ball on the ground more this year, but at the end of the day, the dude is a lights out shooter, and if he's not doing that, he's not providing the biggest reason why he's there. And I'm not saying that to be critical of him. I'm just saying that's what we need to get back to for Keegan Murray. We need to figure out how he can focus more on being a 40% three-point shooter, because we saw this year how the inconsistent shooting doomed this team, whether it was Keegan, whether it was HB, whether it was Herter, whoever you want to say wasn't hitting on that day. The Kings have to have somebody that they know game in, game out. Okay, we know we're going to be able to get our 2, 3, 4 threes from that guy tonight. And if anybody else contributes, that's the thing that sets us over the top. So getting Keegan back to his 40% three-point shooting for me is the biggest thing that the Kings need to do. 5% drop-off is absolutely massive. If this wasn't Keegan Murray, we would be having real concerns about 5% drop-off points from three. Since it is Keegan, I don't think anybody's concerned. And we talked about the touches per game. This year, Keegan was at 43.2 touches per game, which I am looking right now, but I already know it's up from last year. Last year, he was at 34.9 touches per game.
He got HB's touches.
He literally got HB's touches. Again, Keegan this year 43.2. Last year HB 45.9. So exactly, he pretty much got HB's touches this year. And, you know, he did. HB averaged 15 last year. Keegan averaged 15.2 this year. So pretty much got the same level of production on pretty much the same amount of touches. Keegan was fourth on the team in touches per game. So I would say, you know, not that we're doing the grade right now, but overall it was a step forward from Keegan. Was it the perfect step forward from him? No, but you got to also kind of grade on a curve, because I do think there was just a lot. I think looking back on it, especially like asking Keegan Murray, even though he was the number 4 pick in the draft, the jump that people wanted from Keegan was, I think, from like 12 to 17, 18, 19 points per game. And that's just a massive, massive leap when you think about it. And so maybe the expectations were set a bit too high for Keegan this year. And ultimately, I think he definitely improved. And that's really what you're looking for from a second-year guy, is just not taking a step back, looking more confident, and then going into next year, you just got to hope that he picks up right where he left off. So I feel good about the season Keegan had. Of course, he could have had you feeling a little bit better, but ultimately, especially, I didn't even talk about that Golden State, the play-in game where Keegan pretty much won it before the game was even over by the first quarter. I think it was a really, really big season for Keegan. And looking back at it, I think we should look at this season with nothing but positive eyes for Keegan, because he did take a massive leap forward.
Yeah, if you look at the other sophomores, Keegan, and based on what he's being asked to do, there's only a couple guys being asked to do more than Keegan Murray. And really, the two guys are the two most obvious guys. It's Paolo Banchero. And it's Jalen Williams, who Jalen Williams just had a breakout year this season. The other guys that also come up, and Keegan is top 3 to 4 on all of these different sophomore lists. I mean, Mark Williams, who's on the Hornets. Okay, you get Shaedon Sharpe, who's on the Blazers, another bad team. You have Jalen Duren on the Pistons, another bad team. Benedict Mathurin might be probably the best comparison, because he's not being asked to do everything, but he's being asked to do a decent bit. Who's out right now? Jeremy Sohan on the Spurs. I mean, he gets memed all the time. Dyson Daniels isn't being asked to do what Keegan's being asked to do. Jaden Ivey on the Pistons. I mean, he was almost off the team, and now just a confusing season for him. Walker Kessler. None of these guys are on contenders being asked to do as much as Keegan Murray, besides Paolo Banchero and Jalen Williams.
Yep.
Christian Brown on the Nuggets, he's not being asked to do as much as Keegan is as well. So I think as far as Keegan is concerned, he is in an interesting situation because he's not a number one pick like Paolo Banchero, but he is being asked to do more than some of these other sophomores who went pretty high in the draft as well.
Yeah, no, and I mean, it's definitely something that we can't overlook because, I don't know if Keegan would necessarily be somebody where if he's on Washington, like I don't necessarily think he would be a 20-point per game scorer just because I'm not sure he's kind of got it in him. Like we were just kind of having that conversation about Tyrese.
Right.
I definitely don't think Keegan has it in him to naturally just put up 25, 30 shots.
Blazers.
Yeah, he's not doing that. Yeah, like I think Keegan – exactly. Like if you were in that kind of situation. So it's a bit unfair to try and grade Keegan on the same level as those other sophomores. But to your point, even if you do, I think he's looking pretty dang good. Like I think at worst you can say, and, I know Chet's in the draft class, but he's not a second year guy yet. So if you're just talking about the guys who did the most with their first to second year leaps, I'm looking at Ben Matherin's numbers. He actually took a step back in points per game. So he went from 16.7, which was ridiculous. It's almost crazy to ask him to be better, down to 14.5. And that's still a playoff team, but Keegan Murray was 12 points per game this year, 15 or last year, 15 this year. I just don't know anybody besides Jalen Williams who is asked to be in that role, this complementary role, but still not make mistakes. And I think that's the big thing about Keegan is he's just done this so well and pretty harmlessly. I kind of think it's been overlooked just how special what he's doing is. And hopefully next year, and we'll talk about it next segment, but hopefully next year he can definitely take another leap because I do think Keegan, more so than maybe anybody I've ever seen in the NBA, seems like a guy who needs to be comfortable in order to succeed. And I think next year he's going to start feeling himself in like the best ways where I think he's just going to understand like, oh, I belong here. And not only that, but like, I can do some things. Like I can throw my weight around a bit. So I'm excited to see where Keegan goes next year.
When we return, we give out our grades. You're not going to want to miss Chris's grade. He's talking all nice about Keegan.
We'll see.
But his grade might not reflect that. We also want to know what you will give Keegan as a grade. A minus, B minus, B plus, C, C minus. What do you got? 916-339-1140. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis. Put the frosting on the cake. Put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a two-hand flush makes it 114-106.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just talked myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Time to give out grades. We have Sasha Vazenkov up next. Time to give out grades on Keegan Murray. All right. 3-point percentage down 5.3, but we know he took a jump and took a leap as far as his defense and just overall as a player, whether it's 247 Sports, 24/7 Sports, or CBS, they all have him in the top 3 of sophomore guys, or the top 4 of sophomore guys. Chris, all right. What are you giving Keegan as a grade?
I would give him, I would say an A-. And I think if the 3-point percentage was up more towards like 38, 39, of course, if it were at 40%, I think it would be an easy A. I think, again, there was just so much expectation put on him this year, I think a bit unfairly, but even then he kind of met the expectation a bit, raised it up 3 points per game. And the defensive end is definitely the biggest improvement for him. I mean, he was pretty much asked to go from a guy that they felt good about putting him on good forwards to, oh no, you're going to be guarding Steph Curry and the best players on the other team for the first half of the season. Before they ended up having the Keon revelation, it was Keegan. Keegan was the guy that played against every team's best defense or offensive weapon. And, that's a really big task, especially when you're asked to, at the other end, be a dynamite scorer and somebody who's putting the ball on the ground and running pick and roll now and just everything. I just can't imagine what Keegan's brain was like the first month and a half of the season, where it's just, okay, wait, I got to show this. Okay, wait, but I'm also asked to defend, and just so much processing going on in real time. And, as an athlete, I'm sure you can speak to it, but like, you want to be in that flow state, right? Like, you don't want to, the more you're thinking about, being at bat and you're saying, okay, he just gave me a heater. Like, should I sit on whatever, curveball, whatever? The more you think about it, the worse you're probably going to end up doing. And I think Keegan, that's what I said in terms of next season. I think he's just going to be comfortable. I don't think there's going to be a lot of thinking. This is a long way of me saying Keegan A-.
Yeah, to liken it to baseball, I think it would be, look, Mookie Betts, he's a different type of animal.
Yeah.
But it would be basically Keegan Murray was playing, I don't know. It went from Keegan Murray playing left field his freshman year, his first year in the league, or even right field, to pretty much playing shortstop, right? Or if not shortstop, third base.
Sure.
Where it's a position that there's way more to think about as an infielder. When you play left field or right field,
catch the ball, get it.
You're just supposed to sit, just hit, just be a hitter, right? So it would be maybe not shortstop, because that would be De'Aaron or a Sabonis, but I would say Keegan went from being a corner outfielder to being a corner infielder, which you got to think about relays, you got to think about bunt plays, you got to think about turning double plays, a bunch of things that you did not have to think about as an outfielder. You're just there to hit, really, and catch the baseball.
Yeah, and he was just there to shoot, right?
That's all he was there to do. So I like that. With that being said, I'm giving him a B. I can't give him an A. I'm giving him a straight B. If an A, I think, is just so obvious to me, even an A-. A couple more big games from Keegan, and I probably would have given him an A- and just skip over the B+.
Not holding any weight.
The playing game,
we get a B+.
You can convince me a B+. You can convince me of that, but I can't go A. Right, and it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I mean,
that's not a bad thing.
No.
That's not. I'm not trying to be a hater.
No, not at all. I mean, especially when I think we're trying to give the most fair and even grades possible.
I don't know who's gonna get A.
We gave HB and Trey, I think, both C ranges. I can't remember if we fell on C's or C pluses, but that feels right. I mean, if you're gonna give those guys in the C range, like, I don't necessarily know if Keegan was 2 letter grades above what those guys gave. He was definitely better, more impactful, but. Yeah, I mean, to your point, did anybody really deserve an A? Maybe Domantas Sabonis. You'll have to wait and see. But absolutely, I think that's fair. And, my thing about the playing game, I did have like some big picture. It's a bit of a narrative take, but I do think that this entire season was the purpose, the goal. Like we said, this was not a championship team. This team, as much as they talked about the goal is to win a championship and whatever, the goal of this season was actually to get Keegan Murray up to a point where they felt like he is the second or third scorer on this team, and to figure out the defense. Well, they got to 15th in defense, which you could argue if that's figuring it out or not, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. Keegan Murray scoring 32 points in a season on the line game, to me, it would have obviously been a whole lot better if they could have seen it for a whole series. But to me, that's a bit of a sign that season was successful because you got Keegan to the point where he was able to have that kind of game. And like I said, I know that's kind of a bit of a narrative thing and might not even, because you could throw back at me, well, how did he do in that Pelicans game? Because it wasn't great even before he got hurt. I think he was 1 of 9 or something crazy bad in that game. But I think the fact that they got Keegan to the point where he was the third scorer in a gotta-have-it elimination game against that team specifically, I took it as a major win, and I think that is, if, you know, and I know we haven't really done the whole team grade or team perspective outlook on all this, but to me, that's one of the things that you take and say that's a success from this season, that Keegan was at the point where he was at the end of the year. So I'm okay with a B. I would probably hope for a B+. A- might be a little bit optimistic, but he was one of the Kings' best 4 players undeniably this season, and I think that's a lot. If you would have just told somebody that at the beginning of the season, I think they would absolutely take that as a success.
Oh, definitely. And let's not forget, okay, here is the actual, this is the university grading system. All right.
Perfect.
An A means outstanding.
Okay.
An A- is excellent.
Okay.
Okay. And then you have a B+ means very good. And then a B is good. And then there you go. A C is average. So a C+ is
slightly above
average. So yeah, if you're asking me, was Keegan Murray excellent this season?
Sure.
I can't say that.
Sure.
Was he? You could convince me that he was very good.
Yeah.
But I'm still closer to a B.
A show grade would be a B+ then.
Yeah.
I would say. If I'm at an A-, you're at a B, I think we can both be happy with a B+.
Based on what he was asked to do.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And even if you compare it to other guys, like we said earlier, I think he's one of the top 3 second-year guys in the league. I mean, it'd be tough to make the argument over Paolo. If you're really passionate enough, maybe you can make the argument for Jalen Williams. I think it's a losing argument, but no, I still think Keegan Murray being a top 3 sophomore, because it is tough, because Chet is definitely a level above. But if you would say Keegan was picked 4 in that draft and he will be a top 4 player from the draft, I think a lot of people, especially on draft day, where a lot of people, I will raise my hand, myself included, had major doubts about Keegan. I think this is a major, major win for this franchise, that they got a guy who is truly, at the very least, like, you got really good value picking him at number 4. You got the 4th best player at number 4.
Yeah, and from the 916, following up on what they said in the last segment, do you think you could get somebody back or get a ton back without giving up Keegan? They said a ton to me is a top 30 to 50 player. You can definitely get a top 30 to 50 player without giving up Keegan Murray.
I would think so. Well, I'll have to look at the Ringers list of top 100, but yeah.
Would a top 30 to 50 player put you over the top? I guess it depends on who that is. All right. When we return, Sasha Vezenkov. Time to break Sasha's season down and give him a grade. Also want to know what you are grading Keegan Murray and Sasha Vezenkov. 916-339-1140. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
A handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jayco Wood, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, the Hot Tub Store, and Kettleman's.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Cool moms love the lounge. Show your appreciation this Mother's Day by treating your mom to specials on some of our favorites all day long.
Celebrate Sacramento Rivercats baseball during our 25th anniversary season. Pick your favorite weekly promotion, giveaway game, or theme night, and join the fun at Sutter Health Park. Stick around postgame every Friday and Saturday night as we light up the sky with the brightest fireworks in town. For a full promotion schedule and to buy tickets, visit rivercats.com. We'll see you there.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And if you've even thought of replacing your old, outdated, inefficient windows, now is the time to take action.
Right now at Bell Brothers, when you buy one window, you'll get the second one for 30% off. That's right. Buy one, get the second one 30% off.
That's real savings, up to $6,000. You have to buy at least 4 windows to qualify, and you can't mix windows and doors. But beyond that, every second window is 30% off.
For example, when you buy 10 windows, you will get 5 windows at 30% off. We also have 0% interest financing available for qualified buyers. Call for details.
To take advantage of our buy one, get one 30% off sale, call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or find us online at theNoSurpriseGuys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Hey, movie fans, the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento is now serving adult beverages. Playing this week, The Fall Guy, the IMAX experience.
Tom Ryder, the biggest action star on the planet, is missing. You need to bring him back.
Treat yourself to a refreshing action movie filled with laughs and chemistry starring Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt on the Esquire IMAX 6-story screen. Getting tickets is easy. Visit IMAX.com/Sacramento and reserve your seat today. And don't miss The Fall Guy this week at the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
The 916, 30 to 50 players without moving Keegan. Chris, that was the ringer you were in?
Yeah, so I was looking at the Ringers top 100 list that we've referenced it a couple times here. Lauri Markkanen's 28, Brandon Ingram's 29. Let's see here, some other Kings possible targets that we've talked about. You got Julius Randle's 44. Jaren Jackson, I heard them talking on the morning show this morning about Jaren Jackson. He's 45. And then you have guys like DeMar DeRozan's 49, Draymond's 50, Mikal Bridges is 52. I would think surprising. You can get these guys without having to give up the farm and give up Keegan. I would think. I mean, obviously, you're going to have to give up more if you aren't willing to give up Keegan, but you can definitely make the deal happen without him.
Yeah. So there you go, 916. All right. Off to Sasha Vezenkov.
Mr. Vezenkov.
We already have some. Okay. So Amid Rock is giving Keegan a B- on the sack chat. Developed his defense and his offense suffered slightly. He had some amazing dunks and a 12 consecutive 3-point game. Yeah. B- feels fair too. Aaron is giving Sasha, as we get into Sasha, and we'll give our grades after we break things down, but Aaron is giving Sasha a D+. Didn't really make much of an impact. And Nate is giving a thumbs up to that. All right, let's break down Sasha, Chris.
Yeah, Sasha had an interesting season. We'll get into all the other stuff besides the actual numbers after, but just looking at the numbers here, Sasha on the season, I would just say in general, the numbers, I know Sasha didn't play a lot, but the numbers did look a little bit worse than what I even expected. 5.4 points per game, 2.3 rebounds, 0.5 assists, shot 44% from the field, did shoot 37.5% from three, which I think obviously is what Sasha's out there to do.
Mhm.
He had 17 and a half touches per game, which was 10th on this team, which kind of actually seems higher than what I would have guessed. But I guess that also says when Sasha was playing, he was involved. It's not like
Right.
he was just out there and then they would just kind of have him out there and he would kind of float around. When Sasha was out there, you would notice Sasha's out there because he would usually let that thing fly. So bit of a definitely, I think everybody, especially based off the expectations coming into the year, I think there's not a human out there that isn't disappointed by the season Sasha had, but you presented a fantastic, and I think it's the question for Sasha Vezenkov this season. Was it Sasha's fault, or how much of it was even Sasha's fault? How much of it really was, oh, Sasha didn't play well versus I don't know if Sasha was really given the opportunities to thrive and also to fail. Was Sasha actually given opportunities to fail, or was he put in there and said, you better succeed or else I'm not going to be able to find minutes for you, which, is sometimes the reality of being an NBA role player. But it was I don't even think it was an up and down season. I just think it was ultimately a very flat and disappointing season from Sasha from everything that everyone was hoping for.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I mean, you have both Bogdanoviches who are kind of in the same vein. Obviously, Bogdanovich, and it's really crazy. The Knicks made all these moves, and a lot of these guys. I mean, you get OG back, and so Bogdanovich, he's out
for the series.
Yeah, he's out for the series. You have the other Bogdanovich with the Hawks, who was on the Kings at one point. If you look at the tape, right, is that what the Kings thought that they were getting? Because those guys can create.
Yeah,
right. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I just don't know what they were. If you watch the tape, I mean, you talk about Klay Thompson and Keegan Murray with the lack of dribbling. You watch a highlight tape from Vezenkov, you can count the dribbles on two hands.
Right.
I don't really know what they thought they were getting.
I think they thought they were getting, so Keegan was going to take a step up, and then my assumption was Sasha was going to step into the Keegan role. But the problem is he was never given, again, and it comes to that question you asked. I don't know if he was ever given the opportunity to even be given that Keegan role, because to me, that's exactly what Keegan did last year. It was a lot of shots, and we just went over it, 12 points per game and all that stuff, shot 40%, but Keegan barely dribbled last year. And so I assume that the plan was just going to be elevate Keegan and then Sasha step in and get those minutes. And he just never got those minutes. It took him, I don't even know. It felt like it took him a solid 2 to 3 weeks to even get in for the first time, which was interesting. And I don't know how much of this season was, hey, Sasha's even got to kind of get up to speed on what the NBA is like before we feel comfortable throwing him out there. I think ultimately the goal was for him to be a knockdown spot up shooter. And I think the problem is the Kings Mike Brown wanted to be a defensive minded team first and foremost, and Sasha definitely did not fit those plans. You could maybe argue, and it's something Whitey argued all summer, even when the Kings were trying to pitch him, was Sasha even really a need for this team? Or was he just somebody that they wanted because he was an exciting offensive prospect? But when you look at the guys that Mike Brown actually likes, like Juan Toscano-Anderson, it's not really what Sasha Vezenkov brings. And so, who knows? Maybe you could argue this season was really Mike Brown sending a message to Monty McNair and saying, these aren't the guys that we need to be adding.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of, maybe for lack of a better term, desperation. You lost to the Warriors. Your shooters went cold.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Even though your shooters were hot all season long and you didn't really need shooters, it was a situation where it was an impulse buy. I think it was on the heels of a loss to the Warriors. Oh, we need another shooter. That's the answer.
Sure.
We need another shooter, even though you had the highest rated offense in the history of the NBA. You go out and get a shooter. And to Matt George's point yesterday, when he said he would be more surprised if Kevin Huerter was on the team next season than Harrison Barnes, he thinks Harrison Barnes is going to return because to what you're saying now, Mike Brown does his talking with playing time.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying when I came into the fold here. When was Sasha supposed to take anybody's job?
Mm-hmm.
And I know Keon Ellis, that's a little bit different. Keon was filling a need.
Yeah.
They needed to get better defensively. They had shooters. And Kevin Huerter, I know it's a little bit different because Sasha, they're similar size, but Sasha's more of a forward than Kevin Huerter. So you have, and nobody's saying Sasha was going to start,
right.
But you start out and you had the rotation. You really didn't deviate from the rotation besides Keon.
Mm-hmm.
So when did they decide? And I think a couple of weeks ago, we likened it to Trey Lance, who Trey Lance did get somewhat of a shot. When did they decide, oh man, this is not what we expected.
Right.
We can't even run this guy out here.
Yeah.
Because it just felt like nobody consulted Mike Brown on this. And I don't know if Mike Brown ever wanted Sasha Vezenkov.
No, I mean, it's definitely an interesting question for sure, because it just everything about Mike Brown and everything he's told us would be Sasha is not the kind of guy that the Kings would or Mike Brown would want on this
or
team.
They need.
Yes, absolutely. They need long defensive guys, and Sasha is just not that. I mean, he's 6'8", 6'9", but he's got slow feet. And I think, honestly, crazy enough, defensively, from where I expected him to be, he was actually pretty decent. Like, I'm not going to say he was a lockdown defender or maybe somebody that, you could throw out there in crunch time minutes and not be afraid of him getting torched, but he was passable. He had a nice moment on, the Steph Curry game winner missed. Sasha was the one who was kind of locking him up, kind of like Kevin Love in that game 7. But I think that was the big fear, is that Mike just never wanted to get scorned by Sasha's defense. And I don't know if I just kind of think that fear drove a lot of Sasha's lack of minutes. Like I think Sasha, a lot of games people would call in and text in and, on the message me on the YouTube, on the post game YouTubes, and say, how did Sasha not get minutes today? We shot whatever. The Kings would go games of shooting 30% from 3. How do you not put in your best 3-point shooter? I think it's a fair question. I think it also got to the point where Sasha was like the backup quarterback, where everything would have been solved if you just put in this guy who's getting no minutes. Yeah. And it got to the point where, if Sasha were getting runs, maybe the Kings wouldn't be shooting so bad, and maybe they wouldn't be losing and finding so much inconsistency. I'm not even saying you're wrong. I just don't know if Sasha getting minutes would have saved the season at all. I don't think these guys saw him every single day. Sasha in the preseason was breaking shooting records in their drills. I think they knew the caliber of offensive weapon he was. I just think they were a bit concerned about giving him major minutes and how much of a defensive liability he would have been. And I just don't know if he would have.
The biggest,
I truly don't.
Bigger swing and miss. Sasha or Duarte? It's Sasha, right? Because you went overseas.
I guess it's Sasha, but it's such a marginal swing.
Yeah.
Like I think that's at least the good thing, is that you're talking about this guy's making like $7 million per year.
But but the way they kind of talked it up, I think a lot of fans.
Hype is one thing, but hype was definitely disappointed, but again, it's the 8th guy on their rotation.
Right.
You're supposed to take swings on those guys.
But everybody is looking for the hidden gem.
Yeah.
And I think that people thought that you had a hidden gem in Sasha, and maybe you still do.
Yeah.
But I think now, if we believe that these guys know more basketball than we'll ever know, or they'll forget more basketball than we even know,
sure,
then I just don't see Sasha taking a miraculous leap. Will he hopefully be more productive next season?
Right.
I hope so, yes. But I don't know. I think the hidden gem thing is probably not going to happen. We just want him to be to have some type of production at a higher level.
It's only year 1, though.
It's only year 1, but he is 28?
He's 28, yeah, but he moved his entire life over here and moved across the world by himself. I think, you got to give him a little bit of grace in terms of I just talked about Keegan getting comfortable.
Yeah.
This dude moved his life. He was the MVP of a league and then moved over here to be their what ended up being like their 10th, 11th guy. Like, I think that takes a lot of mental toughness testing. And, I think it would crumble anybody. So I think if this thing doesn't work out next year, you got to pull the plug on it. But I'm not fully giving up on Sasha Vezenkov being a productive role player in this league.
All right, let's see if Chris's grace translates to Sasha's gray when we return. Also, send your grays in for Sasha Vezenkov, and we will let the good people know. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
So toss to McCaffrey, a cutback run 30, breaks 340. McCaffrey midfield. McCaffrey 40, 30, 20, and toasted all the way down to the 3-yard line on the first play of the game. CMC Dynamite!
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
Guys, are you ready to give up because you think you've tried everything and you're still dealing with loss of energy, poor sleep, weight gain, and even ED? Revive Men's Health Sacramento has local medical providers that offer low T and ED treatments customized to each patient's unique physical makeup. By working with a specialized compounding lab, personalized treatments are guaranteed, even when generic pills and supplements haven't worked. It all starts with your free comprehensive exam and consultation. Availability is limited. Book today, and for this month only, Revive offers qualified patients a free 1-month supply of personalized ED medication, plus a free ED treatment producing immediate results. The experts at Revive Men's Health Sacramento will work to provide the right treatment for you so you can show up as the best you in all aspects of your life. Call 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566. Or send them a private message at ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Golf Monthly lists 10 things great golfers don't do. They don't arrive at the course with minutes to spare. Get there in time to properly warm up. They don't follow one mistake with another. Take your medicine and move on. They don't lose their cool. Tiger takes 10 steps and the problem is gone from his mind. They don't give up. A bad round can always get better. They don't blame their tools. It wasn't the putter's fault you three-putted. And they don't worry about three-putting. Move to the next hole and try again. Great golfers don't take unnecessary risks. Keep those large numbers off the scorecard. They don't underclub. Weekend golfers think they hit the ball farther than they actually do. They don't always hit the driver. Put the big stick back in the bag when it's not behaving. And finally, great golfers don't hit balls randomly. Have a plan on the range and stick to it, and take that same plan to the course. It's a game. Have some fun out there. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
They're going to give it. No, it's a play action. Purdy going to roll left, throw for the end zone. Caught by George Kittle. He has the hat trick tonight, a career high. 3 touchdown catches for George. Touchdown, San Francisco.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort.
Do you have sore feet, an aching back, or plantar fasciitis? Then get to the Good Feet store nearest you for your free arch support fitting. Good Feet arch supports are only available at the Good Feet store.
Hi, everyone. It's Emron Pilati, host of the True Sports Card Show here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday at 10 a.m. Would you like a chance to meet Ricky Henderson, Dennis Rodman, Johnny Manziel, Randy Johnson, Frank Thomas, Vlad Guerrero Sr., Dave Stewart, and our favorite Malik Monk, and meet over 90 sports card dealers all in one weekend? This is your chance to do it on May 17th through the 19th at the Roseville Fairgrounds at the Sacramento Autograph Expo. You can get all the information about the show on our website at sacautographexpo.com. That's sacautographexpo.com.
Whitey here, reminding you that not all gas grills are created equal. Bring out all the delicious flavors in your grilled meats with the amazing Napoleon Prestige and Prestige Pro line of outdoor cookers. My Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill has turned me into a grilling pro with features other grills cannot match. They're built different, built better, built to last. Made with premium stainless steel that boasts quality and a lifetime warranty. I may never want to cook indoors again. Napoleon grills and accessories are now available at your nearby Amy's, Ace Hardware in Sacramento, and now El Dorado.
It's been said an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And when it comes to a nice, cool summer, it's so true. Right now, get a complete air conditioner tune-up for just $59. Bonnie, plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
We have the grades coming in from Sasha or for Sasha Vazenkov. And you have, some are nice. Curtis Hicks say, let's give Sasha an incomplete, an INC. I needed to see more to give him an actual grade. Beamer Beams or Beamley says rated E for everyone. Ahmed Rock says, oh boy, Sasha, he gets an E for effort. Beamer seriously says a B- because he did okay for a rookie new to an entire league. I think that's definitely the highest that we will see for Sasha. All right, Chris, what are you giving Sasha? Really, it goes to what you said earlier. How much of this is on Sasha?
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, the production of what he actually gave is like a C- at best, I think. I would say if I were being harsh, maybe more so in the D category, just maybe because of the hype and the expectation, which might not be his fault. But the overall production in terms of what the Kings got out of Sasha this year is probably, I'll give it a C-. I feel comfortable with the C-. And even that feels high for me. That feels really high.
It's tough for me to give Sasha a D+ because a D+ or D in general means that you really underperformed and you also got opportunities and still underperformed. Yeah. A C- feels like, hey, you got some opportunities. You could have maybe, what are we asking here? He just is never supposed to miss a shot.
Right.
Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. Based on when
Shots,
he got in.
Yeah. 37% from three.
What was he going to have to do for Mike Brown to say, all right, I gotta get him in based on what his skill set is. You're never gonna make every single shot. Sure. So based on that, C- feels fair.
I mean, yeah, he was a little psychotic sometimes in the shots that he would take, and I think some of that is that they instructed him to, if you feel comfortable, let it fly. But he probably could have done himself a little bit more favors by a little bit better shot selection. I think he was did a good job as a cutter. I'm just trying to think of something besides the defense that really surprised me. I just didn't really see anything that was unexpected, because in the league too, there's more space, there's more time. It feels like he had a greater window opportunity to maybe show us more than what we already knew he had. And I think that's where I'll push back a little and say Sasha's not blameless in this, because he did pretty much, in terms of skill set, exactly what I think we all thought he was capable of. No more and no less, I would say.
So this is the Sasha Vazenkov scouting report from Hoops Hype.
Okay.
So let's see if it sounds
I assume this was going into the season.
Yeah, but it does have his current salary, and it says Sacramento Kings. So maybe it's a compilation of before
What does it
he
say
got
when
signed.
it was written or anything like that? I'm more just trying to figure out where in because before we had information on Sasha versus actually getting to see him was a little bit of a different perspective. I would imagine this was probably dropped before the season started.
Yes, before the season started, as he was getting signed, or right after he got signed. Okay, so here's the scouting report. 6'8", stretch 4, sharpshooter, won MVP in EuroLeague. Very smart player, moves off ball for cuts and easy opportunities. I did not see that.
He did that. Yeah, he was a really good cutter this year. That was the one thing that again was advertised and I felt like was there.
I feel like again, maybe it would be more obvious if he played more.
It would. It definitely
and he
would.
didn't. All right. Will relocate for better spacing and open threes. Yes, I agree. Really good catch and shoot player. Agree. Can generate threes himself when necessary. Not in the
he'll
NBA.
pull them.
Right. What is generating?
He generated some shots that most people wouldn't take. So I guess
you'll laugh at this one. Willing to make the extra pass for better looks.
Oh yeah,
not this because he didn't feel like he could.
Yeah, not this year.
He was there for buckets.
Yeah, that's tough. That's one thing where maybe that'll show if he gets more minutes because he was in a position where it's like I need to shoot,
right?
Okay, because I'm here to
in.
make shots, not to pass the ball.
Subpar defender gets blown by too often. Teams like to hunt him on defense.
Yeah.
Now, I think the defender thing, I think that's probably where it was a little overblown. I don't think Sasha was a complete traffic cone.
Yeah, no, I thought he was going to be a turnstile. Like I thought it was just going to be, you give him one little shimmy shake and you're gone to the rim. He just competed, and I think that's the best that you can ask from him. Again, he's really slow-footed. Obviously not the greatest, vertical athlete or anything like that, so he's not going to be able to keep up with a lot of guards, but really, he just used his savvy. He used his veteran IQ to kind of throw his body out a little bit. He knew spaces, like how to cut people off from getting to where they were. It was better than expected, but I'm not going to act like the Kings would ever stick him on anybody.
No, it's just you're not completely toast if it happens in a switch. And I don't think he played enough.
Exactly.
I think maybe he got hunted a little bit, but I don't think he played enough to make it as obvious as say a Kevin Herter getting hunted.
Yeah.
From the 916, Sasha is a good rebounder as well. He needs more time on the floor to shine. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Look at his per 36s.
I know when you read off the rebound, he had a decent amount of rebounds.
Yeah, it was.
He would get in there.
He's at, 2.3 rebounds in 12 minutes, pretty decent. His per 36.
That's more than Harrison Barnes.
His per 36 stats are 16, just under 16 points per game and 6.8 rebounds. So, it's fine. That's good.
In limited opportunity,
but per 36 would take his actual numbers and then stretch it out for if he would have. Yeah. So 7 rebounds is about like the borderline of where you want to be. I don't know if you would say he's a good rebounder, but
but that's what I'm saying.
Harrison
Barnes averaging 2.
Yeah. No, absolutely. HB's not I don't know if he's the example that you should try.
He's getting minutes.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, it does remind me of my second cat. So I kind of got duped into how we got our second cat.
Okay.
Because my little sister sent over the cat, right? And she thought she was going to get the cat. And basically it's the same process that we did for the first cat. It's almost like a dating profile. You go and there's a small blurb about the cat.
Yeah.
So she sends it to us and it's literally a scouting report on the cat, whether they like to cuddle, whatever it is.
Sure.
This specific cat, it says, likes to fetch. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, we're about to pop on TikTok. This is going to be great. So long story short, my sister doesn't get the cat. And now we've already put it in our minds and we were about to be gone for a very long time with the wedding and everything like that. So we wanted to give a companion to the other cat. Not that I don't think she wanted one, but she didn't really have a choice. So we get the second cat. What's the first thing I try to do?
Fetch.
That cat does not play fetch. And I didn't say anything. You're saving a cat from being in the basement or whatever.
Back and say,
I'm not going to take the cat back.
I was promised this.
But your write-up is incorrect.
Yeah.
And no. Did I go on Yelp about it? No. Did I want to? Yes. But so it's not as ridiculous, I would say, as Sasha being promised. When you read that scouting report, it was not as ridiculous. there was nothing on there that it said he does that he
Sure.
just straight up didn't do.
Yeah.
It didn't say, just like the cat, didn't say he played fetch.
Right.
And then didn't.
Right. Sure. I don't
All
know
right.
where to go with that. How's the cat doing now? Is it TikTok famous at all?
No.
Does it have any skill at all?
She's kind of funny, but doesn't really do too much.
Where did they get that from?
I don't know.
Like,
She'll
how do you
run
just
after it,
make
but
that up?
all the cats run after it. She
Yes.
doesn't bring it back. That's fetch.
Yes,
If
that
I-
is definitely fetch.
If I worked at one of those places, I'm going to put this cat does backflips.
Just to
This
get him
cat-
out?
Just to get
Yes,
him out, yeah.
Yes.
Because
yes.
no one, and now I feel like it's
Yes.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
You're not gonna bring the cat back.
Right.
Exactly.
After you show the cat the home.
Right.
Dude, I'm saving so many cats' lives. It's going to be insane.
Just saying, hey, this
Just
cat will
lying.
do your laundry.
Yes. This cat. Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, but it'd be walking the line.
Do you think they knew? So here you go. It's not a stretch. Do you think the cat, Xena, is her
Knew
name?
that it was on the scouting report?
No, but do you think Xena, one time,
Warrior
right,
princess.
brought the whatever they threw back, and they
Uh-huh.
said, hey, we're not lying. She played fetch once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was in
yeah.
Philly, I had, I played up the California thing because, you got to play up the California thing. And
I'm
had
sure
up a
people
bunch of-
outside of California love that.
Oh, no, they did. But they did. So I had a bunch of posters up, and I had up
Yeah,
a
the California
I had a
Republic.
surfing poster up. And people asked me, have you surfed? I stood up one time for about 3 seconds, but I surfed.
Yeah. Do you say that?
No, I just say, yeah, I surf.
You think I've ever surfed?
Yes.
Yeah,
Snowboard.
you shred.
I've done the other. Pretty much everything else. I've never surfed. I wish. Seems cool.
Nate, what are you giving Sasha?
D plus. Did not make the most of his minute. It was such an underwhelming. It's not his fault either for the most part. It's a lot of outside forces. The whole last year off season, and Chris can attest to this, was like,
It was a lot.
what's he gonna be?
Yeah.
I know because summer's like this, but it's like, what's he gonna be? What's this guy gonna do? How's he gonna improve the team? Oh, another shooter to this lethal offense, like you were saying. This is gonna be incredible, even if he's only getting so many minutes. But then when the question was asked, does Mike Brown even want this guy? That I was like, oh, that's a good question. The argument you just made about him not fitting this team or the guy that Mike Brown wants more specifically. Once I heard that, I was all on board for that. Made so much sense to me. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. This guy is not going to fit on this team. And if he's not making shots, it's like,
I don't know what he's there
What
for.
are you
No.
doing? The age is a problem. The money isn't really a problem. And it's also not like a big swing and a miss for the Kings. They didn't put it all on the line for this guy. They didn't give up too much. It's not like, I think Kevin Huerter could potentially be a bigger swing and miss depending on next year.
Sure.
D plus for Sasha. That's kind of where I'm at right now. And it's not totally his fault.
916 on the text line saying C plus. Sasha just needed more minutes. From the 209, a C for Sasha. I think people like Sasha, and people
I think that's
just
what it is.
don't feel like Sasha got
A fair shake.
and
Yeah.
we'll see what happens next season. All right, those were our breakdowns for the forwards, Sasha Vezenkov and Keegan Murray. We will continue this on Friday with more player breakdowns. When we return, drama with primetime Deion Sanders. Surprising? Not really. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out sacktownsports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on sacktownsports.com.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hi, it's Brian from Bennett's Restaurants. Springtime is a fun time. So to celebrate, we created a new menu of our favorites from Baja. Plenty of new food. Enjoy grilled skirt steak, wild prawns with pineapple, fresh sea bass, and a shrimp tostada with piles of shrimp. Or maybe our fresh empanadas stuffed with carnitas and cheese are more your speed. Enjoy our newest dessert, Kylie's Churros, with a vanilla cream center. Visit Bennett'sRestaurants.com and come enjoy our new Baja menu today. Eat well, stay well.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, the Hot Tub Store, and Cattleman's.
This segment is brought to you by Aztec Solar. Skip the sales pitch. Calculate your solar savings at yourpowersavings.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sacktown Sports. Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Just had a little bit of a party in the studio, not like we're working or anything, joined by Frankie Cardicelli, Brendan Nunez, and Emil Fergoso. They just popped in, just wanted to say hello.
Whenever they want. They're more than welcome.
I got stuff to do.
Liar.
Just,
I'm trying to stay locked in here.
You just want to yell at me about food and stuff.
That's also true. All right. Well, speaking of food, there is some beef being cooked here.
That was
in
good.
Colorado. Thank you. In Colorado. And honestly, we had a meal on, what was it, yesterday? And we talked about how Spencer Rattler dropped.
Yes.
Due to something that happened in high school.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You got Shador Sanders out here rapping.
Really? I've not heard
yes,
the rap.
He was on stage
What?
rapping. It was terrible. Okay, he's rapping. He's all over social media. I mean, when we saw him in Vegas, and I don't mind. If I was a baller, you couldn't tell me nothing.
Absolutely.
Okay? But at the same time, I have no problem with Shador. It's just Spencer Rattler gets to drop, and I get it. It's about talent and things like that. But Spencer Rattler drops for stuff that happened in high school, and Shador's doing this. I also don't think that Shador's going number one. I don't think that. Nope. People are not. We've seen this story before with LeVar Ball, and LeVar Ball was a nobody. Okay, you really want to deal with Deion? Deion is saying, "Oh, you can go to certain schools," and people were mad about Caleb Williams' pops,
right?
And some some of the stuff that he said and did,
Deion's going to be having like 4 press conferences a week already. That's a lot of opportunity.
Teams are going to sign up for it unless Shedeur was that dude. And I don't even know if Shedeur is that dude. Okay, so this is what happened. Basically, a guy, and there's a lot of fault to go around here. This is from The Athletic. Deion Sanders recommended that Xavier Smith hit the transfer portal like many others. Hey, I'm bringing my bags, and they Louis. Remember all that?
Yes.
Get out of town. Xavier Smith did not, okay? During spring practices, Smith felt more like an extra in the background of the reality show. Frustration set in before he eventually left for Austin Peay. Here's the first thing. I don't really know what Xavier Smith is upset about. If Deion said, hey, you're not one of my guys, you should leave, I think it's messed up, and there's a different conversation about a lot of people don't understand that Deion is not the only one doing this. There are a lot of coaches doing this, telling dudes to hit the portal,
right?
And everybody's saying, oh, the portal's out of control, as if it's only kids leaving.
Sure.
There are kids leaving based on what they want to do, but also there are a lot of coaches saying, you need to bounce.
Yeah.
We got somebody coming in. I saw a story about a quarterback from NC State where that happened to as well. So this is Xavier Smith. This is from a piece in The Athletic. I was actually getting mad, like tears coming to my eyes because, bro, you never even tried to get to know me. Xavier Smith recalls Deion telling him he should enter the spring transfer portal. He goes on to say he was destroying guys' confidence and belief in themselves. The way he did it, it could have been done with a little more compassion. Okay? Now, that's the first piece. That drops. Now, your boy, future number 1 pick, franchise guy, Shedeur Sanders hops in and goes, I-O-N.
Yeah, I-O-N.
I don't even remember him, to be honest. Bro had to be very mid at best, which mid means middle of the pack.
Yep.
Not very good. I don't even remember him, to be honest. Bro had to be very mid at best. So that's Shedeur Sanders hopping in. Don't know why he did that. And then before Jaheim can say anything, Prime responds with somebody who had his stats from Austin Peay. Had Jaheim Ward's stat from Austin Peay. Didn't have any interceptions, right? It only had what, eight solo tackles, 12 assists as far as tackles. So Prime quote tweets this as somebody is saying, man, go take a seat. And Prime quote tweets this and says, Lord Jesus, L-A-W-D, Jesus, Lord Jesus, as to say, what are we talking about here? And then Jaheim Ward responds back to Prime, and he has his own set of stats and says, dang, it's crazy. I got more pass deflections than your son. And he screenshots Shiloh Sanders' stats with 2 clown emojis, and everybody kind of quote tweeted that and liked it, Chris. This is becoming this was always going to be a circus, and it's getting there now.
Yeah, I don't really know how I feel about all this because it's kind of tough for both sides, obviously. I mean, like the human side of me definitely feels really bad for these kids who, like you said, I mean, are essentially being forced out of these schools that they chose out of high school and were promised one thing. And then, I'm sure all these kids were really excited when they heard Deion got hired by the program and were excited to be a part of it, only to find out the day he got there, get the hell out.
I mean, they had to know, though. They were terrible.
And so that's the counter side of it, where the reality of the situation is Deion's walking into an 0-12 program, and Deion can't be 1-11. He can't be 0-12 because then he's getting slandered. So it's kind of one of those things where nobody wants to see how the sausage is made, right? Like nobody likes to see the dirty side of this, and this is the dirty side of it. Deion turned that whole school, that whole program around in a single offseason, and it's not going to be done pretty. Like you don't do things like that by making friends and by, having the hallmark story of, oh yeah, this kid grinded. I kept him. I saw potential in him from the 0-12 team. And now he's one of our biggest contributors. That's all fine and dandy for the Disney movie. But the reality of the situation is Deion knew I got to win. Like, I cannot go to this major program and be just like every other coach. I can't build this thing up.
Right.
I got to turn this thing around. And the only way to do that is to get these, sorry, I'm going to call them scrubs, but 0-12, you're out. I'm sorry.
And they still were only 4-8.
Exactly.
So, and a lot of people, and he's saying we're not done.
Yeah.
We haven't brought in everybody that we want to bring in, but yeah, it's a pretty crazy situation. I really don't like the social media beefs like that. I just think if you're Dion,
that's just a bad look.
If you're Dion and Shedeur, you got bigger fish to fry.
Exactly.
If this and what's crazy is they really don't have two legs to stand on because what he said was true. I think this kid, I don't really know what he expected because Dion told you what it was. Okay, but Dion, because of that, Dion didn't have to say anything. Really, it's kind of a nothing burger from Xavier's standpoint because it's, look, man, they told you to leave. You decided not to leave. Why would you think that you were going to be treated any better than what they told you it would be? It's not as if I know there's schools out there that over recruit. Okay. I don't really know what Dion did wrong besides not go out of his way to find any, here's this word again, or here's this phrase again, hidden gems. Yeah. He felt like I don't want to waste my time with any hidden gems. All y'all got to go, and maybe I'll be wrong, but I don't have time for that. Yeah. He didn't over-recruit. This isn't a kid who Dion, this would be completely different if it was a kid Dion brought in.
Dion promised some things.
Exactly.
Where's his family home and all that?
Where's that story? Okay, so because of that, I think it's a nothing burger from Jaheim Ward's point of view. And then I think I think because it's a nothing burger, there's no need for Dion, and there's definitely no need. Shedeur, you need to be focused on getting drafted.
Yeah, it's just unnecessary.
From the 408, if dude was any good, he would have ended up at a better program or an equivalent school. I don't even know the name of the school. Said it twice. Yeah, Austin P. And right, we understand you can find guys anywhere. We're not saying that you can't, but there is something to be said. Yeah, first of all, we know that they scouted who was on Colorado. I don't think Dion said anybody on that roster go. I don't know if 0 players stayed. He told certain people to go. So you deciding I want to prove him wrong. We've seen movies where guys just get ignored. They get ignored and you have to do something, and maybe Dion wasn't giving him the opportunity, but you decided to stay in this situation. Yeah. Dion told you. Now, it's probably tough because you didn't have great stats because your team was 0-12. So you go in the portal. I mean, that doesn't mean somebody wants you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And you had to go to a smaller conference in Austin P. So I think it's foul on both ends. I understand why this kid may have felt like, man, he doesn't care about me, or he's saying he could have done it a nicer way. Yeah. Well, what is it here? It's football. Whenever people talk about football, it's I miss the good old days where people were more hard nosed. And then you have the other side of things. Well, you got to do things with more compassion. I don't know where to fall.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like Dion probably shouldn't have reached. Like, he shouldn't have addressed that.
No,
like,
the Twitter stuff is all bad.
Have tweeted it. I don't understand. Like, to me, that's something where you're just giving your enemies fuel. Like, if I'm another coach, that's the first thing I'm saying. You want your kids playing for this guy? Like, this guy's out here calling out on you. 18, 19, 20-year-olds, and look how quick he'll turn on you. Like, it's not a good look. And for Shedeur, like, I know you brought up the Spencer Rattler thing up top. Like, I don't really see how this is any. I get that it's different teammate versus somebody who's no longer a teammate, but at the end of the day, he's punching down, and isn't that almost as bad as what Spencer Rattler's doing? Like, this kid is somebody who's just struggling in Austin P. Yeah, sure, whatever. He's calling out his program, he's calling out his dad, whatever. But why do you care? You know how many people criticize him in that program? Why are you deciding to go after this kid? Whatever. It feels like it didn't have to be done that publicly. You're trying to embarrass the kid.
It's one of those things where if they don't say anything, nobody does that athletic article.
No, I mean,
very a small amount of people read that. There's nothing surprising in it.
I always say, like, it's not news when the wolf howls at the moon. It's news when the moon howls back, and that's what Dion and Shedeur did. They gave this attention when nobody would have paid any attention to this kid if he was just tweeting about it. Maybe somebody would have picked it up, who knows, but it would not have gotten this big. And I mean, to me, it's just a really bad look. And I'm not saying I dislike Deion or dislike Colorado. I want that program to succeed. I think it's good for college football. I think it's made the general casual interest as big as it's maybe been since college football was a lot bigger in the early or late 90s and all that stuff. But I ultimately think that it was probably a miscalculation here by those guys.
From the 831, they just got to put them phones down and ball. This is a big season for Colorado. The narrative is doing it for clicks. Prove them wrong. Yeah, isn't that what Colorado State said? They're doing it for clicks.
Yes, right.
And or maybe that was Oregon.
Oh, that's right.
Oregon.
Yes, when they had their big old thing. That's
good
right.
poll,
Yeah.
831, and I don't think they'll listen, even if they're listening to
where
this
is
show.
Colorado at right now? Are they Big 12? Like
That's a great point.
Every single day I see a college and that used to be in the Pac-12. My first question is, I have no idea where they're playing now.
That's a good point.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it still says Pac-12 on Google, so we'll figure it out. All right, when we return, a very bizarre night in Major League Baseball. Some really funny stories that I know Nate will get a kick out of. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find De'Aaron Fox is Sacktown Sports.
Spins away from the defender. In the paint. Soft floater. That's a great play by De'Aaron Fox.
Hey, Sacramento. It's De'Aaron Fox, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Some bizarre stories coming out of Major League Baseball last night, and Chris and I were talking about them before the show. Chris, why don't you break down? But I don't know which one is more bizarre. I think there's one that's funnier than the other, but they're both pretty random.
The one that I'm more passionate about is hot dog night.
I'm all in on that.
The hot dog night is truly just, it's America at its best, but it's also what baseball needs to lean into. Yesterday, this is from the MLB Twitter account, official. The Mets had Dollar Dog Night last night, and set a new franchise. I thought this was an MLB record, but set a new franchise record, selling over 44,000. Yes, 44,000 hot dogs. The official number they put on the big screen was 44,269 hot dogs sold. And that was apparently a franchise record. I have no idea what the attendance was, but I'd imagine that's got to be like 1.5 hot dogs per person, something near there.
What day of the week was this?
This was yesterday. So this was on a Tuesday.
Weeknight.
Yes, a weeknight. You know, you got to get the people out there. So you got to have the dollar hot dogs to bring them out. And the one thing that was absolutely amazing that I saw on Twitter was there was one Mets fan who, I think this is always naturally going to happen when you have a dollar anything night. One Mets fan decided to push it to the limit and see exactly how many hot dogs they could eat in a 9-inning ball game. And they wore a shirt that said Dollar Dog Night or Mets Dollar Dog Night, and had a running tally on one half. The shirt was split down the middle. On the right side, it was hot dogs, and on the left side, it was beverages. And let's just say that both had at least 10. Both had at least 10 is what I would say. And this dude showed up with a hot dog hat and everything, like had the.
And this is not Joey Chestnut.
Not Joey Chestnut, just some everyday average American hero.
Love it.
And this person was just consuming hot dog after hot dog after hot dog. And it looked like the tally, you could probably look it up yourself. It looked like the tally was around 17 to 20 hot dogs. And it got to the point where, like I said, this dude was wearing a hot dog hat and everything. As he was eating them, he would like stand up, and obviously he had like a row of friends that came with him, would hype him up and like, hey. And so everybody started to notice.
Right.
And then by the ninth inning, in the ninth inning, there's videos, and this is where you can definitely help your Google search if you're looking for this. People started throwing their hot dogs at this guy to increase his hot dog total. And it was literally like from the upper deck, just dogs and wrappers and everything being thrown at him. So much so that this dude got kicked out of the game.
Come on.
Security went down to go get him and pull him out because people were throwing hot dogs at him. So I don't know if he's on some ban list. I don't even know if he's actually in trouble. I don't know. I think you said hopefully they gave him tickets. Like, I don't know what the situation ends up being when you're peacefully asked to leave. But this man essentially got kicked out for having the best time.
Not his fault.
Insane.
Not his fault.
No,
he's a
it's
hero.
not his fault
and he's just having fun. He's on the. What is he supposed to not catch him?
It's literally what you're asking for.
Yeah. What do you want? Like,
I thought you wanted people to eat hot dogs.
Give this man a booth. Give him unlimited hot dogs, and just let him go to town for one game at the Mets. He's a diehard fan. He came with the shirt on.
Yeah.
He knew what he was doing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said the shirt says "bad day to be a glizzy."
Okay, and there's tally marks I see on there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 9 hot dogs and 10 beers.
Reminiscent of the Boggs challenge.
Yes,
from the It's Always Sunny episode.
Fantastic.
This is Manfred's fault.
Yeah,
it could be.
This is
They wouldn't need dollar hot dogs if the product
John
was better.
Fisher's fault too.
Yeah. And why are you kicking somebody out? This is ridiculous now.
He's a hero.
Yeah.
He's a patriot. This guy. I don't blame him at all for what he did. He's just eating hot dogs.
There's no blame. There's nothing to blame.
It got out of hand. They asked him to leave in the ninth inning. It was late in the game. Get him tickets. Get him set up for whatever Mets game. Just get him some dogs. Take some pictures with him. It'll all be good.
707 is saying the attendance was 22,880.
Over 2 dogs per person.
2 dogs per person, and this man had 9. Okay.
Yeah, and then they're
Do your
throwing. Yeah, I mean that's awesome.
That's great.
Have you guys ever had a Dodger dog?
No,
I've never been to Dodger Stadium.
I've never been either, and you always hear about those, and I'm just curious.
Is there anything special about them?
What makes them unique? I don't know, but I know everyone here pretty much hates the Dodgers because the Giants. But that's just the one you always hear about. So I was curious.
Looks pretty normal.
Everyone needs to go look at this video because this guy is getting absolutely pelted by hot dogs.
See,
it's from every angle.
Maybe it's for his own
You
safety.
just see I think it was, but you just see wrappers flying all over the place in Shea Stadium. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, getting him out of there. I wouldn't say he got kicked out. I don't know if that's how people are describing it, but that's a police escort.
The Dodger dog is 10 inches.
Nice.
Good for them.
Yeah. Congrats.
Yeah.
Is that
I
what
did not
makes
know
them
that.
special?
Yeah, I did not know that.
So that's the only thing?
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Also, in the baseball world, the Diamondbacks and Dodgers game was postponed due to bees swarming behind home plate.
I saw that too.
I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
Are you out on bees?
I am leaving the stadium if I see that. And I don't know if you saw the picture of the swarm.
Oh yeah.
That's no joke. That is no joke at all.
They thrive off that carbon too you're putting out when you're running. So for the players, could be pretty dangerous. My bee knowledge.
You got to figure it out. You can't postpone that game.
How do you figure that out, Alan? I'm looking at the picture on Chris's laptop right now.
It's terrifying.
It's like
look at that thing. That's all bees.
It looks like rock candy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Times
yes.
multiplied by 100.
Yes.
The size is huge. You can't do that. And bees can kill some people.
They could.
Common. You don't know who's allergic.
And then it was an 8:30 first pitch. No thanks.
Oh
No
my
thanks.
God.
Yeah, they had to push it back to 8:30. And they had the beekeeper, or I guess not keeper, but the I guess exterminate. I don't know. They had this bee person. Whoever they had remove the bees, they had him throw out the first pitch, which I thought was pretty awesome.
No, that's exactly.
In his bee,
in the bee
suit.
He beat all of it.
The beekeeper
it was
suit.
so great. Yeah,
that's
it's a lot of pressure too. I saw somebody say, imagine like having 20,000 fans look at you do your job, and I think they were playing like Let It Be or something like that in the background. Like, everybody is looking at you do your job, and you better not mess it up. Don't get stung and don't fall off the ladder.
That's going on my resume if I'm that guy.
All right, when we return, speaking of messing up, Major League Baseball tries to fix their mess up with the jerseys, and we also play a little bit of Fair or Foul. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Guys, are you still dealing with loss of energy, poor sleep, weight gain, and even ED? Revive Men's Health Sacramento offers guaranteed low T and ED treatments, and this month only, qualified patients get a free 1-month supply of personalized ED medication, plus a free ED treatment producing immediate results. Availability is limited. Book your free exam and consultation today. Call 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566, or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, the Hot Tub Store, and Kettleman's.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Welcome to the May Springtime Sales Event at Kia of Vacaville, where we're celebrating the arrival of a new season with unbeatable lease options on our 2024 lineup. As May blossoms with possibilities, it's the perfect time to immerse yourself in the exhilarating world of Kia, highlighted by the luxurious and versatile Kia Telluride. Throughout the May Springtime Sales Event, Kia of Vacaville is thrilled to showcase our top models with irresistible lease offers. Experience the thrill of driving the all-new Kia Sportage, seamlessly blending captivating design with dynamic performance. Dive into the impressive fuel efficiency of the Kia Niro, a hybrid marvel designed to extend your adventures. Embrace the essence of spring with our eco-friendly Kia hybrid options, specifically tailored for those who prioritize efficiency without compromising on style. With the EV9 in stock, Kia of Vacaville stands as your premier destination for electric excitement. Model availability, lease options, and features may vary. Please visit Kia of Vacaville for more details.
Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Major League Baseball will modify its Nike jerseys after criticism from players and fans.
It's about time.
A little bit too much action, trying to keep things PG on the baseball field.
Dodger dogs.
Okay. Nicely done, but nicely done.
That's a good one, Nate. That's a good one. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, I mean, what were they doing? Like, I don't even know how this made it out of spring training.
It was bad.
Like,
I mean, Carlos Rodon, that picture of him, that Yankee jersey was almost charcoal.
Yeah.
That's how dark it was from his sweat.
It's everything. Like, how do you design a jersey this poorly?
Casey Schmidt, who,
crazy. Yeah.
A lot was revealed.
Yeah.
In those photo shoots.
And it doesn't even have to be graphic. Like I was telling Nate earlier, like I'm talking just even base, like it's not built for baseball. There was a player that slid into home plate and his entire left side of his pant just tore open like a tear, like he's playing basketball and wearing tearaway pants.
Right.
Like what? How is your product not able to withstand a totally normal baseball movement? I don't understand how you greenlight any of it. And I know Fanatics is putting the blame on Nike, and I guess Nike is really the one that wanted to be innovative with some technology that they use, but
they were
it's
innovative.
Trash. I mean, yeah, they definitely did something that's never happened before. I've never heard this many people upset about a jersey.
What was your inspiration, Nike, for your jersey? You know what they would say? Hollow Man.
I don't know.
That's what they would say.
I'd say saving money.
Mm-hmm.
That's their motivation.
It just
here.
doesn't make sense.
Aerodynamic, very thin.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I will say, like the old baseball jerseys, especially like the sewn-on ones, like it is kind of thick. Like if you have a 34, like that 3 and 4 don't really fold very easily.
Sure.
You kind of have to fold around the 3-4, but you just ruined like such an iconic look. I mean, I know obviously the first thing that a jersey should be is functional, but at the end of the day, like I don't think anyone was going to wear these cheap shout out Big Five. I love Big Five, but like those jerseys look like they would be sold for $25.99 at Big Five.
Yeah,
and
they're like the pennies or whatever. When you had PE in elementary school and one team had to go with something over their shirts, they're like that thin.
It's at a professional level, and it's baseball, which is got more money, legacy money than anybody, and it's just how do you allow, when your game has so many issues, and we feel like we just took a major step forward last year with all the rule changes, to then, I don't know if you would say it set the game back, but it's just
am I a joke to you?
Yeah, it becomes a little bit of a Kangs feeling, where it's like, all right, guys, really, like, of course this has to happen to us. Like, it feels like something that only happens when you continually take L's. And this is just another L that is stacked up for baseball. And I guess, I can hear some baseball purists saying, oh, you guys are really upset about the jerseys. Nobody's watching the games for the jerseys. But I do think it just shows baseball not, like, you go to the NFL, you go to a training camp, you go to whatever, it's top notch. Like you walk on a football field, a professional field, or even their practice field, and I was floored by the amount of money that just, you can tell the grass is beautiful. The pads are all fresh and new, and there's a weight room over here and all that stuff that looks pristine, brand new. And baseball's out here playing with, like Nate said, some penny jerseys. Like it just looks ridiculous from a league that is already so far behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, so I mean that's not really a fair or foul. Obviously, it's
just trash.
Foul. Let's get into some fair or foul, Chris, as we were talking a little bit about college and the transfer portal. So Peja Stojakovic's son transfers from Stanford to Cal. He's a 4-star, 5-star?
I think he was a 4-star.
So he's a 4-star. I don't know what Stanford is doing. Look, I've always been a Cal fan. They never called on me for baseball, but I still love them. And I'm wondering here, fair or foul, because I know with the ACC and things like that.
Sure.
But this is a pretty big rivalry.
Yeah,
I know both
huge.
of them haven't been very good at any of the major sports lately, but fair or foul transferring from Stanford to Cal.
I guess in today's day and age, it's fair, but you're not wrong. Like it is a really, and like, it feels like just I mean, I don't know the specifics of the situation. Maybe he just kind of wanted to stay in the area. Obviously Peja, I think
probably,
it's
the biggest, it's the biggest
only
other school
exactly
in Northern California.
Yeah. Cause I don't even know, like he could have gone to Fresno State, I guess, but like he was looking at Kentucky, UConn, and I believe Cal was the other one. Right. So it was clear that he was either looking for a big brand or something local and close. And, Berkeley's definitely no schlump. Like they had Jaylen Brown as a top 5 pick. What is that? Probably 10 years ago at this point. But, I think it's probably fair in today's day and age where I just don't think anybody really cares about that rivalry anymore. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's also part of the Pac-12's fault.
I'm going to get off my lawn and still say foul, even though I understand what it is. And it's not as simple as it used to be, but I'm going to say foul on that. The next one, which I know people will have a lot of thoughts on with this celebrity boxing thing. I watch boxing. I watched the Ryan Garcia Devin Haney fight and just happened to watch it. It ended up being one of the best fights, I'm told, in a very long time. Because like I said, I'll watch boxing here and there. I know that boxing fans go back and forth on kind of how it's become a bit of not a joke, but in a way, kind of a joke with the celebrity boxing and Nate Robinson getting knocked out and football players getting into boxing and stuff. So just fair or foul, they announced the official rules for Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. Fair or foul on the fight, and will you be watching? It is July 20th at Jerry World in Texas, AT&T Stadium.
Yeah, I'll watch for the spectacle of it for sure. I like loosely follow the celebrity boxing scene, not really super intently. But like it's I will say I think people it's just interesting I guess there hasn't been a ton of analysis so far, but just a lot of people saying he's Mike Tyson, he's going to win. I think there's a 31-year age gap between the two, which is the I think I saw on ESPN this morning. It's the biggest gap for an actual sanctioned boxing match in history. So I'm not 100%, and I'm sure I'm going to get absolutely flamed for this, but I'm just not 100% sure Mike Tyson can fight. What is it? 8 2-minute rounds. It's a lot. I know he's Mike Tyson, and that's the thing everybody just throws back is, oh, dude, we're talking about Mike Tyson here. But, he's old, and it's not like Jake Paul is just fighting on these fight days. Like, he's been fighting every day for like 5 years now. And I'm not saying he's great or anything, but I'm just saying that, Mike is not the same Mike Tyson that he was when he was the heavyweight king.
And I don't think Jake Paul is any type of world beater, but I do think when you're rich and can focus on something and you're somewhat athletic.
I think the dude lives in Costa Rica now.
Yeah.
Like he's fully committed to this.
Yeah, he's rich. He has nothing better to do. And shout out, they did what they did and they popped and they did it from the ground up as far as I know. I don't know what their parents had, but it wasn't this. I'm pretty unsure. So now you're in a situation where you can just have fun in life and just choose.
Right.
I want to be a fighter. That's like the celebrities that we see when they have trainers and they're just they're just training in basketball, going through drills just for a workout for no reason.
Yeah.
Because
why is Drake getting better at basketball?
Yeah.
For what? Why is he training with Lethal Shooter?
Exactly.
Why?
Because why not? Because I have nothing better to do. Yeah. So I think that
they're going to make bank. That's
bank.
The thing is they're going to make so much freaking money from this.
Well, and I'm pretty sure that this is set up for Jake Paul to win because if Mike Tyson gets knocked out, he's 60 whatever years old, right? And if Jake Paul does this, he can say, "I beat Mike Tyson." Right. The chances of Mike Tyson I don't know, maybe I'm tripping, but you put all that stuff together, like you said, Jake Paul is not even a novice anymore.
Yeah, no, he's not. No.
He's a healthy young man.
He has started fighting randoms. He is not just fighting celebrities anymore. He has started to fight. I think he's fought 3 or 4. He's fought a couple randoms. Like he is legitimately trying to make this boxing thing work. And I don't know. I think he's in his prime. Like, I can't imagine he's older than I am. So he's 26, 27 years old, entering his peak physical fitness. And again, Mike Tyson is a dude who hasn't, I mean, and I'm not even saying, I'm not going to be on here saying Mike Tyson doesn't stand a chance at all. Absolutely. Mike Tyson can touch him once and that fool will hit the canvas. Absolutely. Right. Everybody can get knocked off one hit, but if we're talking about Mike Tyson lasting 8 rounds and no headgear, and he hasn't fought in, I don't even know how long. I mean, I know he had the Roy Jones Jr. thing a couple years ago, but like, this dude has been out of the game for a while. And Mike is not this again. Mike Tyson, the person, is not the same. Mike Tyson was unleashed when he was a heavyweight champion. This man owned tigers. He was out of his mind. And now he's this grandpa who's, smoking weed every day and chilling and really philosophical, all this stuff. He doesn't have that killer, or hasn't displayed that killer mentality that we know as Mike Tyson in a really long time. And I'm not saying he can't channel it, but I'm just, I just don't know when. I'm just a little bit dubious when everyone's go-to is he's Mike Tyson. There's no way he's going to lose. That kind of sounds like everybody's just kind of banking on the name and not the actual skill for itself.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this out here, and I'm pretty sure Mike Tyson has got to be a grandpa. I mean, he's got 7 kids. So he's
actually has to be.
He's literally a grandpa.
Yeah.
Right? So take that for what it is. I think
I will be fighting Whitey next week.
I mean, I would watch it.
It's on.
And it'll be sanctioned.
Quickly,
Chris, last but not least, Tom Brady roast on Netflix. I guess that's not fair or foul. Are you in or out on that?
I'm out on it. I think the celebrity roast thing kind of got overplayed in like 2010. Like it was really good when it first was popping, and then I don't know. It stopped hitting the same. Maybe since it's been gone for so long, maybe it'll hit. You need Jeffrey Ross out there for sure. I think I saw Bill Belichick's going to be one of the people.
Yes.
So I don't know how much to really expect out of that. Plus, how much of these are really like are they really going to hit, Tom?
I don't. But that's the thing. Tom Brady is so Tom Brady. He says, "I dare you to find something to make fun of me about."
Because it's like you're going to make fun of Deflategate and all that stuff.
His wife leaving him, and that's. Right. That's pretty much it. I think I'm out. I will catch the highlights.
Yeah, if I hear it's funny, I'll tune in, but I'm not going to premiere watch that.
All right, when we return, crosstalk with the Dragon.
Oh, it's
Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Hey there, wanted to take a moment of your time so I could talk to you about insecurity. I could talk to you about confidence. I could talk to you about girth. Yeah, what? Girth? Yeah, okay. Let me tell you about the Upsize Clinic at UpsizeMatters.com. My good friend, Dr. Jack, and his friend, Dr. Pash in San Francisco have a safe, effective, long-lasting doctor-performed procedure. It's non-surgical, virtually pain-free. Now listen, girth is consistently ranked as the most important attribute. What Dr. Jack and Dr. Pash are offering is a free consultation. The procedure can be done on the same day as your consultation and get that confidence back. Reset in the bedroom with your partner. Financing is available. It's very private. It's very discreet. Available in Roseville with Dr. Jack and San Francisco with Dr. Pash at UpsizeMatters.com. That's UpsizeMatters.com.
Oh, honey, it's our favorite leaf filter trusted pro, Matt. Matt, come in.
Hi, Mrs. Sparks. You wanted me to stop by? Is everything okay with your leaf filter gutter protection system?
Okay. Of course, silly. We wanted you to stop by for dinner as our way of thanking you.
Yes, to thank you for that free gutter inspection, the free estimate, and what was the other thing?
That lifetime guarantee.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Sparks, those are just Leaf Filter's policies. Everyone who calls Leaf Filter gets a trusted pro to come out for a free gutter inspection and estimate. And every Leaf Filter installation comes with a lifetime guarantee.
So it's not just us?
No, sir. We don't want anyone to worry about clogged gutters ever again.
You mean everyone gets this level of service?
Everyone. They just need to visit leaffilter.com/build to schedule their free inspection.
Okay, but you must be starving. You work so hard.
Ready to love your gutter protection as much as we do? Visit leaffilter.com/build and get up to 30% off today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Lowe's knows pros need the right tools for every job. That's why we sell the largest in-store selection of Klein tools anywhere. Find new items launching exclusively at Lowe's, like the self-leveling laser level for just $159.98. Plus, shop the Connect socket set for just $49.98. Get Klein tools in-store and online today, because Lowe's knows tools. Lowe's knows pros.
Okay, guys, we got to put our trays up for takeoff.
Where's Dad?
Oh, he's in the back. We could only get 3 seats together.
Daddy has my pillow.
We'll get it later. Can you not put your feet up, please?
Why aren't we going?
We must be in line for takeoff.
Like security?
Well, that was a different line.
I have to go.
We just sat down.
But I have to go.
The seatbelt sign's on.
Why aren't we moving?
Hey, no kicking.
We're just 15th in line for takeoff.
Son of a...
Don't go there. Go on a real vacation. Go RVing. Learn more at GoRVing.com.
Seems like all this artificial intelligence stuff stirs up the age-old debate of man versus machine. Hi, it's Dan from the Good Feet store, and let me ask you, would you let a robot cut your hair? Would you rely on an app to teach a kid to ride a two-wheeler? Let's face it, some things require the human touch. People come to us seeking a solution to foot, leg, and back pain after trying all kinds of things recommended by in-store machines or website blurbs. An impersonal, generic approach to solving a problem that's unique to you. No wonder they usually don't work. At the Good Feet store, you'll meet with an arch support specialist who will take the time to learn about your needs, your feet, your lifestyle, and then fit you from over 300 models and sizes of arch supports, designed for pain relief, better balance, and more comfort.
Do you have sore feet, an aching back, or plantar fasciitis? Then get to the Good Feet store nearest you for your free arch support fitting. Good Feet arch supports are only available at the Good Feet store.
Maida Chevy saves you $10,000 off MSRP on every new 2024 half-ton Silverado, LT, RST, and LTZ in stock after rebate. Over 50 to choose from. Exclusive all in-stock pricing at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See deal for details. Ends 5/15/24.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Joined by Whitey Gleason.
Hey.
Drive guys,
Yeah.
Whitey.
Yellow.
Having a hard time with all this trade talk.
Which part of it?
Mason Miller. You know, he's having such a great start, but, you know, he's a closer, so you probably should trade him, but he's pitching so well. It's tough, Alan. It's tough.
Are you taking that from me?
I heard you talking about it yesterday, but I mean, he got to save again last night.
You think?
Struck
Yeah,
out the side.
I mean, well, Chris has already kind of brought it up. Do you think that's where this thing is probably going?
I don't know. I'm kind of kidding, but
Yeah.
it is interesting that the A's are. It's like I watch him and it's like, this isn't horrible.
No.
Yeah, what's going on here?
It's not. It's not. I mean, it's still early. But
That's
that's right.
right.
2 dingers on the day. Whitey, a little earlier in the show, we were talking about Malik Monk and how basically I woke up feeling more confident about Malik staying because of all the conversation about Paul George, whether it's from the Magic or the Sixers, and it just kind of re-put into perspective that we might be talking about Malik Monk with purple lens glasses on, and I'm not really sure how ridiculous the market is going to be for Malik. I don't think a contender, and I landed on this, and maybe I'll end up saying it was a terrible take. I'll end up on freezing cold takes, but I don't see a contender giving Malik more than, I think I landed on 20 million. And if they do, it's because how much does Malik, if they do, it wouldn't be their first choice. It would be because Paul George decides to stay in LA, which I think is worst case scenario for the Kings, because that wouldn't eliminate anybody. So Paul George stays in LA, and now the Magic say, okay, well, since Paul George is staying, hey, Malik, do you want this? Sixers, same thing. And even D'Angelo Russell might be rated a little bit ahead of Malik. But initially, with all the Paul George talks with teams that were also connected to Malik Monk, it made me feel a little bit better that Malik knows he is first choice in Sacramento.
What do you think?
I think that I would definitely echo that it's definitely Malik's choice wherever he wants to go. Like that's the tough thing about this situation. I think he's onto something for sure. I think it's I think I said it's definitely a little bit optimistic, but I don't think anything that he said is that crazy. I think if Paul George is going to be first in line for their priority list with the Sixers and with the Magic, I could see Malik maybe valuing the Kings actually wanting him first. And especially when it comes to the money of it all, I think we laid it out. Like Naz Reid makes 12 mil. Austin Reeves makes 12 mil or 14 mil or something like that. Jordan Clarkson, I think, makes 14 million.
Right.
And Grayson Allen just signed a new deal, 4 years at around 17 million. So I think it might be a little premature for us to just assume that Malik is going to get this giant bag that we all think is just out there. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but it might not be as much of a slam dunk as what we all think. And who knows if Malik will want to wait too, because that's the other thing is if he isn't going to be first on the priority, you almost have to wait for those other situations to fall through first before getting that offer. I don't know if Malik's going to be that patient.
Yeah. Two things. First of all, I know I mentioned this with Chris last night. I texted him yesterday when I was on with you guys. I was talking about how Windhorse said something about if LeBron went somewhere for less money, the Lakers would have to approve it. And what he'd actually said is if there was a sign and trade, which obviously if there's a sign and trade, the Lakers have to be, they have to be a willing partner in that. So that's what he meant there. But I think Malik and the Magic is a match made in Disney World. They need guard help.
Yeah.
And even if they offer him, say 20, and maybe to your point, maybe they don't. Maybe no one offers him that. But if 20 million a year to play in Florida is a lot more than just about 18 to play in California.
Agreed.
So that's where I think he's going.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of bracing myself for that by assuming it's going to happen. Hope I'm wrong, but that looks like a really good fit for him and for them to me. They don't shoot the ball real well. I don't know how much you watch them. And they're a good team.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I know that, so they don't know that they would want to, or I guess the reports are they might not want to pay Suggs or pay Malik more than Suggs because Suggs is their guy as well. They have too many. They have to figure out what they're doing with their guards because they have too many guards, but they have a bunch of guards that are super similar that can't really do what they need the guards to do.
I think Malik's value really went up when he showed the world that he could be a combo guard. Before he was a little bit on the small side shooting guard,
he was a shooter,
which is a little, but now he's proven he can play point as well. And it's like, oh, okay. I think his value skyrockets.
Yeah. Wow.
It could. I mean, it just depends on how, we think that Orlando views him as a starter, but I don't know if that's a guarantee. Like, again, they like Jalen Suggs. They just drafted Anthony Black last year. They still have Markelle Fultz. They've got Cole Anthony. They do have quite a logjam at the guard position. So I don't know how they're going to spend their offseason, but I just don't know if it's absolutely a guarantee that they're going to throw the money out there necessary. And who knows? We'll have to wait and see, but ultimately, I think Malik is a good fit for them. I'm not sold that Malik thinks that. I don't know how Malik views that situation either, because that's a ton of young guys who knows they could. I mean, the Kings took a massive step back this year. If you think Orlando's only going to get better, but I don't know if that's a guarantee.
Yeah. All right. Well, Whitey, you kind of popped or burst the bubble, but not fully.
I did.
Yeah, for me.
Oh, yeah. That's just I've decided I'm assuming he's gone. And then if he stays, it's like, wow, great. And if he goes, I've already started to prepare myself.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be a difficult hole to fill if he leaves.
Yeah. That's fair enough. We finished up our forward breakdown conversation, and Sasha Vezenkov.
Sasha called me. He's so mad at you guys.
What about you?
I think we were
What
nice.
about you,
Nice. I think we didn't even know what even gave him a D.
Yeah.
What are you giving him? What grade?
I was right there with you guys. And the only reason I wouldn't give him a D is because to me, you can't hold it against somebody that they got hurt.
That too. Yeah. We really didn't talk about that much.
Yeah. And that was a big part of it. So was it Curtis, I think, said
incomplete.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I get. See, I was right there with you guys otherwise. And the thing is, you can see he knows how to play basketball. He didn't come in and take a lot of bad shots where you're going, what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
He knows how to play, but like you said, Chris, he's adapting to a new country, and in with whatever team he was on, he was the guy, and now he's not the guy, and then still learning to fit the way he plays in with that. It wasn't easy, and every time it looked like, all right, he's coming around, up. One or both ankles went out. So,
do you think? And I might spend tonight.
I did want to trade him last year. As you remember,
did. You sure did.
Summer.
Oh no. Yeah. You were early on it.
I do.
You were very.
I do think I'll spend.
Yeah, it was even before
the rest of the evening watching Sasha highlights though, because seeing his in the EuroLeague, because seeing what his skill set is, I'm just wondering, how are you an MVP in any pro league when you don't really create for yourself?
Oh, but he can shoot.
But I'm just saying, is it just his trigger is so quick that as soon as he got the ball, it's just going up? Because if there's a guy who all he does is shoot, I'm just wondering how that guy becomes an MVP if the other team, hey, we're just not going to let that guy shoot.
I think
he
the
did
thing
more
that
than that.
yeah,
He was a good cutter.
That's the thing to me, pardon me, but I think the one thing that we didn't really see that much that he can do well is moving without the ball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you're with us on the C- train. Yeah, we can't go incomplete. That's too tough. Whitey, before we get out of here and the drive guys take over, what did you think? Did you hear about the hot dog story with all the hot dogs?
No, I did not.
44,000 hot dogs sold yesterday at the Mets game. It was $1 hot dog.
$1 hot dog.
$1
yeah.
hot dog.
I did see some of that, an announcer dressed up like a.
Oh yeah, the announcer dressed up as a hot dog.
And then someone ate too many and got kicked out.
Yep. Yeah.
They were throwing hot dogs at him
because he was eating a lot of hot dogs and they wanted him to stack up his tally. So they threw hot dogs at him and they had to kick him out.
Wow.
Our kind of guy.
It's Rob Manfred's fault.
That and the bees. What a day in baseball.
That's exactly what we're talking about. All right. Thank you for listening to Stiles and Watkins. Thank you to Nate. Thank you to all the callers, all the texters, everybody in the SAC chat. You have the drive guys up next with Whitey Gleason and Kyle Draper. Until tomorrow, secure the bag like the beam.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports